Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I'm sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yul Brenner, also known as the America's team #1 staunch supporter. Come win or come lose, he gonna be there year after year. What is this year, like 31, 29, 30 that they've lost? Not gone to the ship. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboys, but again, he's in good spirits and he's rooting on the other teams, I guess, that are trying to go to the what is it, Super Bowl? Because I don't be knowing.
The team that beat us lost yesterday, so it's all good. And Philly lost, so it's all good.
Right. So nevertheless, this is the Demetra K Show, where we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are great people, but we can always strive to do better. Also, like to say a big giant thank you and welcome to YouTube, Facebook, even though they tripping. I'll tell y'all why in a minute. And Twitter, X. Y'all are the other side of the conversation. Not only are you just viewers, you are family. And we also share the link from time to time so that you can come up here and voice your opinion. The only thing that I ask is that if I have not seen you on here before, please show me your face before I bring you up to the big screen so that I can verify that it is you and not somebody else that's up here trying to, do silliness. I also would ask again that if you have nothing pertinent to add to the conversation, or if you've said kind of the same thing before, hold off on that commentary until we have a topic that is pertaining specifically to what you want to say. Please and thank you. So today, I have a kind of on Facebook a bland description of what we're talking about, but we're talking about the Democratic talking heads trying to get Black people to, vote for more of nothing. Now, I have to make it bland on Facebook for whatever reason. It says that my title or link went against community standards. I was like, huh? So then I looked into it. So, I talk about politics and things like that. So maybe because it's political season, they're really trying to safeguard. I don't know. So I have to kind of, be bland about it. So if you're on Facebook seeing it, hello, I don't know, whatever the case is. But nevertheless, I saw this video of Ebony K. Williams. She is, I guess, is a host on The Griot. And she was talking about Joe Biden and him forgiving some student loans. And she goes into the spiel. I cut it down because it was kind of long. The spiel about, him and what he did and us. Of course, I'll get a little bit more into it when I show it to you guys. Of course, we're going to spend a little bit more time also talking about politics this year because it is election season. In November, everybody should or maybe, unless they're going to be on the couch, going to the polls to vote for a new president or maybe keeping the same. And in some cases, not so new, right? Because Trump might be on the ballot and he was president before. But nevertheless, Donovan, what say you?
Well, welcome you guys. It is Sunday, and if it's Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that means it's Demetra K time. Welcome to the platform. We love having you guys here, especially you guys that keep coming back as our co-hosts and sharing it on your platforms. Trust me, we really appreciate that, because when I look at the algorithm and I see the numbers kind of reaching out and we're getting new people that are coming in and learning and educating us as well, I think it's a blessing, because again, never in American history has Black people as a whole across the nation are now talking as a group versus just sectional pieces. Do us a favor down there. If you guys want to donate, there's a scrolling banner at the bottom, Venmo, PayPal, all of that other good stuff. If you donate there, you give 100% of your contribution to Demetra K, and then you could also do it on the YouTube app. But if you do it on YouTube, they take 40% of your donation for themselves, and they give the rest to the content creator, which is Demetra K. This is going to be an interesting topic. I've also seen how they're bringing out these bootlicks as well to come out and and talk this point. So this is going to be a good subject. But also before that, if you are new to the platform, and even if you're not new to the platform, please go to africandiaspora.org. Sign up over there where you can get information and news in regards to the African diaspora all over the place. How many of you guys know that you have a bunch of Africans now that are flooding the zone, coming into the United States via flying-ins directly into New York and Chicago and going to the border, the southern border? How do I know that? I saw it on the African Diaspora News Channel. And that's why I get a lot of information about things that outsource outside of the United States. there was a great story with Wangel when she was talking about one of the African leaders there rejected United States aid because he refuses to do the LGBTQ agenda. He refused that aid. How did I know about that? The African Diaspora News Channel are putting these stories out because you guys got to remember this. The diaspora is huge. We're everywhere. But what happens to them also happens to us in some form or fashion. So please go to the app. You can download it also on the Google Store and at the Apple Store and Google Play. So go ahead and download that, sign up, do a year subscription. That way you ain't got to worry about coming out of your account. You don't know what's happening. Just go ahead and pay for it off the rip. You don't have to worry about it. But a lot of great information there. So let's get into it, everybody. Hello, great to see you guys back. Let's do this, Demetra.
So again, hello to everybody that came on. Hopefully I acknowledge everybody so far. Okay, so let's get in it for the second time. So again, Ebony K. Williams, who is I guess, news pundit. She's on the griot. She is telling a pretty interesting story in regards to that of student loans. Of course, the Biden administration is starting to forgive some student loans, but not all, right? It said that student loan debt in America is the highest debt held by Americans. When I heard last time, it was about $1.8 trillion. I don't know if it's higher now or what. I imagine it's gone down to some degree because some of it has been forgiven. But of course, especially with the Democrats, when it comes to any election, we as Black people are their biggest block of voters. But in the last year or so, I would say that a lot of Black voters are starting to defect, if you will, from that of the Democratic Party. So, of course, a lot of the talking heads, the usual suspects, they're coming out and they are, in a way, trying to shame Black people for leaving or thinking something different outside of the talking points that are usually given to us. And so this is her. I sped it up a little bit. It is going to be a still, but you will hear her voice. So you guys kick back for a second and take notes because we're going to break it on down. Here we go.
I mentioned a good friend who woke up one morning just last month and got an unsolicited email with the subject line, "Your student loan debt has been forgiven," period. This woman had well over $70,000 of debt erased overnight. And aside from the obvious, she specifically appreciated the fact that when she goes out to buy a home, which she was already planning to do this year, now her debt-to-income ratio will be exponentially more favorable than before this move from our president. She will literally, y'all, be able to buy an entirely different kind of home, one with more space and with more equity, which will immediately put her on track to better establish both her personal wealth and, broadly speaking, help close this Black wealth gap that we keep on talking so much about. We do want to do that still, right? Okay, right. And that brings me to my point. A few of our favorite blogs, Hollywood Unlocked, the Jasmine Brand, others, they have posted some true stories of this exact type of student loan forgiveness. And y'all, the comment sections are in shambles. I'm seeing everything from, "It's too late, Biden, go to bed, you're old," to, "We don't care, get Biden and Kamala out of there, y'all are all cap." Frankly, I'm just really confused. Didn't the culture say that we wanted student loan forgiveness? Didn't we say that that's what we demanded of this administration? Because the culture right now is literally getting thousands and sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars forgiven directly because of actions of Biden and Kamala and this administration. But now all of a sudden y'all in the comments talking about it's too late and we don't care? Make it make sense. Because it can't be too late because, I don't know, forgiveness today does not increase your FICO score. It certainly does. So are you telling me that it's too late because the popular political narratives of the culture in this moment is that Biden and them ain't done nothing for Black people? So we plan to stay home on our couches or go vote for Trump come November because, Trump did give us a stimmy check? Knock it off. For real. And by the way, Biden also gave us a stimmy check. I digress. Just tell me you don't understand politics or civics without telling me you don't understand politics or civics. Just because your favorite radio favorites, yes, I'm talking about Charlamagne and them, say that Biden hadn't done nothing for us, you're going to rock with that so you can feel like a cool kid and a contrarian? Even when the facts, when the actual policy and impact show you and yours something very different? I'm going to just say some of y'all get the political leadership you deserve, and I'm going to leave it right there. But for the rest of us that actually believe in holding elected officials accountable for the policies that actually improve the state of Black America, see, we got to stand in that. And we got to stand in acknowledging, if not applauding, when Biden, Harris, Trump, anybody actually delivers on something we've demanded of them since inauguration. And y'all know I've had my doubts that this administration would do anything significant around student loan debt, especially when their initial efforts were overly broad and deemed unconstitutional. Those failed. But this is the kind of stuff I love being wrong about. This administration worked around it. For that, I salute them for their success. And I have to say this to the Black electorate. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Because come November 5th, know that it's not a game.
So again, that was Miss Ebony K. Williams of the Griot, and I guess maybe some other places. I don't know. Your average logical thinker. I read your comment. You said, make it stop. I will tell you, it was hard for me to listen to that too. So I've listened to it twice already, and it is still cringe-worthy to say the least. But I took a copious amount of notes, but I'm going to let Donovan have a crack at it, as I know he is just itching to say how much he loves her, and how appreciative he is of Miss Ebony's commentary on what the Biden and Harris administration has done for Black people. Take it away.
Don't you believe it? Remember that Tom and Jerry cartoon when he got knocked out or something? He's like, don't you believe it? Notice that she said a lot of stuff without saying a lot of stuff. Now, if you guys looked in the chat, I put in the estimated wealth of Ebony K. Williams. She's estimated at $3 million. This is a rich person that is trying to talk to us 70%ers that I've been telling you guys about, that you guys don't want to believe me, that are telling us what we are not experiencing and feeling in the local areas. Notice she did not even once, tell us what the Biden administration did specifically for Black people. No, she didn't do that. No. This is how they get down, because they know that we are an easily distracted people, and they throw red herrings here and they red herring. Dimitri, if you think that I'm a good red herring thrower, there's nobody better than these bootlegs. Like I said, she's saying one thing, but at the same time, she's telling you guys about how great the Biden administration is, but she's not giving not one example. Not one example. She's just saying it. And unfortunately, we've got a lot of people in our community that go with the sound bites. Oh, yeah, I'm reclaiming my time, girl. Yeah. Does anybody know what did Aunt Maxine say after she was reclaiming her time and why she was reclaiming her time? Nobody could ever remember that part. And this is what we deal with. Here's a woman estimated at $3 million that is telling the 70% of the Black community who is suffering and working every day just to make ends meet that we don't know what we're talking about. This is what I've been telling you guys. There's a stark difference between those. There is no middle class. Stop telling yourselves that. The middle class was destroyed, especially in the Black community in 2008. 1/3 of all Black wealth was lost in 2008. And instead of the Obama administration, a man that has Black skin just like me, just like Dimitri, and just like a lot of you guys, instead of helping the American person, he bailed out the banks, the very people that caused the problems. And we're still trying to recover today. There is a known clarity between the rise of Black homelessness and the 2008 housing crisis. Did you guys know that? There wasn't an issue of Black homelessness until after 2008. But this is the belay I've been telling you guys about. This is the 30% I've been telling you about, that they don't care about the 70. Now, I may be technically in the 30%, but I'm smart enough to know that if they get rid of the 70%, it's only a matter of time before they come for the rest of us, the 30. Do not fall for it, you guys. Do not believe it. Let me tell you what reality is. When you look in your bank account, when you walk outside your door and you see your reality, that's your reality. The internet, TV, that is something different. You need to vote what you see and what's in your pocket. And if you don't have any money in your pocket, you need to be making some changes in who represents you and who votes. Never forget, and I've been telling you guys this, and I'm glad a lot of other platforms are starting to say this. If the Biden administration gets a second term, you're definitely not going to get nothing, because everybody that wanted something from the Biden administration got it within the first 45 days. And that's the truth. You give him a second thing, he isn't running for re-election, so he doesn't give a damn. It is what it is.
So hello again to everybody that's come on here. So again, that was Ebony K. Williams, and she was talking about her friend who received student loan debt forgiveness to the tune of $70,000, and now she could go on to buy a house because her debt to income ratio is a little bit differently. But you know, anybody who has student loan debt really knows that it doesn't really get included in like your regular debt, if that makes any sense. So I don't know exactly what she is talking about. It hasn't really stopped anybody that I know of, you know, from buying a house. She's saying too, as Donovan reiterated, that it'll help you help close the Black wealth gap. And it's like, okay, now I don't know how that's going to happen, because all Black people did not get student loans, and all Black people have not gotten their student loan debt forgiven. Matter of fact, all Americans with student loan debt has not gotten their student loans forgiven. But, you know, she's going to run away with it. Now, some key points to me was when she pointed out Hollywood Unlocked and the Jasmine brand. Now, Hollywood Unlocked and a Jasmine brand are gossip magazines or gossip blogs where they'll one day talk about Blueface and Krishan beating each other's mamas up. And then, you know, one hand, they'll talk about the Biden and Kamala administration. Jason Lee, who is the owner of Hollywood Unlocked, he hangs out with them and rubs elbows and stuff. He's, you know, visiting there all the time. So, of course, you know, they're going to talk favorably about the administration. So it kind of make you wonder, y'all getting something for that? I don't know that they are. I'm just asking, are these blogs getting something for continuously? Because also you got to think about who is predominantly the audience of these Black vlogs or blogs. Black people who predominantly disproportionately votes for Democrats, Black people. So it makes sense that these blogs would go about, you know, big upping that of the Democrats. But I'm like, you know, are you supposed to be a journalist and you citing that of Hollywood Unlocked? Big ups to them. Now she went into the comment section, which I've been into the comment section of some of these blogs when they're talking about the Democrats. And I will tell you, a lot of Black people are like, nah, miss me with that. I'm not voting for them again. I'm voting for Trump, or, you know, Trump 2024, stuff like that. So that's why she's really upset, because she's seeing that a lot of people are saying, no, I'm not going to continue to vote for more of nothing. So no matter what she and all of her counterparts, but her, you know, co-workers, if you will, for the Democrats, no matter what they say or do, a lot of Black people are saying, no, I'm not going for it. In fact, I'm leaving the Democratic plantation and I'm thinking about something else. She also mentioned the couch. A lot of people are talking about, I'm not going to vote at all. So a lot of people are saying, I'm going to stay home and sit on the couch that day. Then, of course, you know, they're mad because people are saying, I got a stimulus check, and they call it the stimmy in the neighborhood, you know, oh, I got a stimmy. She said, well, you know, Biden gave you a stimmy too. It's like, nah, sis, tell the whole truth. He gave what was left over from the Trump administration. Because remember, Biden says, especially in Georgia, oh, $1,400 checks are going to roll out. If y'all get Ossoff and Warnock in the office because they're running for the Senate, then those checks are going to roll off immediately. But once they lied to people and they got those two guys in there, he says, oh, well, y'all going to get what I think was $600 or something, which whatever was left over, whatever the difference was. So she doesn't talk about American people being lied to. Then they also go on to that old talking point that seems like it's new, but they keep reusing it. Y'all need a civics lesson. Y'all don't know how government works. And what I also hear them saying when they say that is, you idiots, you know, stupid fools. You don't know how a government works. So we need to tell you how government works. Now, this is the part that really chapped my hide, is when she says, you guys, you know, you want to follow Charlemagne the God, because y'all remember, you know, and she's even been on the Breakfast Club. talking to Charlemagne and stuff about politics. It's a whole bunch of stuff. But now I guess they're mad with Charlemagne because y'all heard Charlemagne say a couple of weeks ago he's not going to re-endorse the Biden administration because he felt duped, right? He thought that him and Kamala were friends, so he's not going to endorse them. So, of course, the Democrats are mad. But this is the part that really got under my skin. She says, oh, y'all want to be contrarians. What does it mean to be contrary? When it means something, when you're contrary, that means you're against or you're the opposite, right? So what she's saying is, y'all are contradicting what we're telling you. Y'all are contradicting the talking points of the Democrats, which the majority of Black voters are Democrats. Y'all are going against the grain. And why are y'all going against the grain? Y'all wasn't doing that before. Now y'all in these comment sections talking about Biden is old and all this other stuff. So basically what she's saying is y'all need to get back on board. Y'all don't get back on board, we gonna have a problem, right? Y'all need to learn how, all that nonsense. And so for me, that tells me that they are working hard and we gotta work harder because they see the writing that is on the wall and that Black people are no longer falling for the banana in the tailpipe that the Democrats have been giving for nearly 60 years, give or take. And so
actually 80, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, we're talking about from the civil rights, generation. But yeah, you're right with that FDR. So they're gonna, and I've seen so many other people, the same old talking heads come out and talk about how Black people don't know what they're talking about, and all this other stuff. So we have got to work harder. Let me jump in this comment section really quick and just acknowledge people who have come on here because I see
Sure, and I got one question I want to ask you. Maybe you can give us an answer, kind of.
Sure. Oh, okay. Okay, so let's see here. Ashley, how you doing? If I didn't already, let's see here. Yeah. I saw those comments. And Anton, how you doing? Says, God bless our president and country. Okay. Who else came on here? James, did I say hello to you already? He says, what is the red saying? Nothing to suit me. I'm not quite sure what that means. That's not feeling. How you doing? Says, I'm reminded that Black women like to look smarter and harder and sexier every time I hear and see Black women like Ebony K. Well, Ebony's on. She got her talking point. She's got to go with it. Y'all know they especially mad with Black men because y'all are leaving faster than Black women. So there's some Black women leaving too, but Black men are like, yeah, we out of here. And so they think that you all are imbeciles. You guys can possibly come up to this conclusion on your own, right?
Well, why should we do that when women are the black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party? I mean, y'all got it.
Another lie. Mr. X, how you doing? Let's see here. Miss B says she have to be getting paid or something out of it. I don't know. You would think that, right? And I'm in purgatory till the Most High come. How you doing? I hope not. It says one love family. Okay, Lillian, how you doing? Hope you're having a great day. Star Child, what's going on with you? Nora says, looks like I'm going to be cussing out a lot of relatives and bootlicks. Better start training my responses to these Negroes. Absolutely. Dwayne, how you doing? And Zakiah, how are you this fine evening? Candy, what's going on with you? Avenge the ancestors, how you doing? Common Man says, in other words, she was saying, stay on the plantation. Harry Tubman was right. Incredible. Hey, Brother Samuel, how are you doing this fine evening? Okay. The average logical thinker says, I wonder why Black student loan debt is the highest. Could it be lower wages due to race? Therefore, paying down the debt takes longer. And why is it taking longer? Nobody wants to address that. And remind us to get into that. And Hannah, how you doing, brother? Nita, what's going on with you? Says they made Charlemagne reverse his stance. He is voting for Biden again to say democracy. Okay. And so it comes and goes, right? Missouri, how you doing? Says, I'm going to need all the cash that the illegals got. Oops, let's see here. To put gas in my vehicle plus interest, my reparations, laugh out loud, I'm going to stay home. See, there's the couch. Brooklyn Bandit, how you doing? Says, I'm voting 2024 for my couch. Pop, how are you doing this fine evening? And who else came on here? Jupiter, how you doing? Says, you got boule folks like Roland Martin with his BS show trying to gaslight Black community. Yeah, he's been doing that, right? Chicago News, how you doing? Long time no see. Says, Black women have accepted being the backbone of the Democratic Party as black women, downing black men while running for 2020 offices. Well, before I give it to Donovan, again, the black backbone of the Democratic Party, as far as black women, it's a lie, because black men were right behind black women. But again, that's black women and black men believing the hype of the Democratic Party, and that if it wasn't for black women, they wouldn't be in office. Well, take black men out of it, they wouldn't be in office either. And if you don't believe me, why are they trying so hard to get black men back if black men don't matter? So we need to stop believing that. And Hannah says left ring, white ring, same bird. Neither party does anything for black people. No matter who is in office, we got the same politics. Absolutely. So Donovan.
So here's my question for you. If both parties uphold white supremacy, and you're not doing a punitive vote like I'm doing against the Democratic, because it's all about power. They're not giving us anything to vote for, basically. Again, if you give the Democratic Party a second term, you're definitely not going to get nothing, because they like to run the clock out. Have you guys seen that in basketball and football, where they try to run the clock out? As long as they can keep taking it off. So my question to you, Demetra, is why, in your opinion, should we vote for the Democratic Party? Just off the rip from what you could tell us, because you do like to play devil's advocate. So please tell us why we should vote for the Democratic Party.
And you do know that I do like to play devil's advocate, but why should we as black people vote for the Democratic Party? I would say unless you're into S&M, then yeah, you like torture, go right ahead. Ask them to tie you up, to a chandelier or something and take a whip. If you're into S&M, you like torture, go ahead and vote for them. And I get it, because a lot of times when you take the Democratic Party to task, then people assume, oh, well, you must be a Republican or you must be voting for Trump. And it's like, no, that's not necessarily the case. But the party that we as black people do overwhelmingly vote for is not doing anything specifically for black people. Now, if you're a logical thinker, a logical person, then you say, that makes sense. It has to be a give and a get, right? There has to be something in it for me with them. What's in it for me? But it hasn't been that way with the Democratic Party and black people. We vote, now check this out. We vote for the Democrats. The Democrats go and help everybody else. Who is everybody else? Well, if you want to take something that's more modern, even as of today as we speak, they are helping loads and loads and loads. And when I say loads, I mean bus loads, plane loads, train of migrants that are going in or actually being bussed into democratically ran cities and states by the Republicans. The Democrats are helping them. They're putting them up in shelters. They're giving them food, money. I did a story in New York where they're buying lotto tickets with the money. One of them bought a Mercedes, and in New York, they're being put up in a Roosevelt Hotel. And I went and looked at a video of the Roosevelt Hotel. I'm like, oh, that's pretty nice, to the tune of $250 a night, right? And so I also did a story today, and these stories aren't out yet, of more black people, homeless black people that are sleeping on the trains in Chicago, because y'all know it's cold there. They're sleeping on the trains, but the migrants, they snug as a bug in a rug in shelters and all that. So when you ask me, why should we vote for the Democratic Party like devil's advocate, what's a good reason? Again, if you like S&M, and by all means, just make sure you have a safe word. You know what I mean? Because you might want to tap out when you really realize there's nothing in it for you. You're only helping other people.
See, and the reason, you guys, why I asked that question is when you guys are getting in these debates with people, just ask them, what has the Democratic Party done? What promises that Joe Biden made to black people that he kept? He didn't keep a one. And that's the thing. To go ahead and continue to vote for this man when he doesn't have to have a re-election afterwards, they don't care. If you look at some of these Democratic shows on MSNBC and all this other stuff, all they are worried about, and Demetra, let me ask you this also as a follow-up. If this man has done such a good job, why isn't the Democratic Party having primaries so that this man could sell his great job that he's done for the American people and black people specifically? We're not even having primaries. It's like they're telling us, this is who you got, when it's obvious people do not want this man. And the funny thing is, Demetra, they do see that because they're going so hard now, they are listening to the YouTube and the new black media and what we're saying because they are panicked now. And if we lived in a real democracy, isn't it supposed to be majority rules, what the people want? And even if we're a small minority of the electorate, why aren't we having primaries? The Republicans are having primaries. I mean, even though Trump is blowing them out and not showing up, and he's blowing them out, the people in the Republican camp have spoken. Why are we not allowed to speak? Why can't this man defend himself in a primary against who? Who would he have to defend himself against? Marianne Williamson? That one unknown congressman? You mean to tell me the president of the United States currently is afraid of no-name candidates to put his record up against the Democratic electorate?
Yeah, and hello to everybody that's come on here. Well, first of all, Biden, so it's in New Hampshire. He was like, I'm not going on the ballot. Now, he didn't want to go on the ballot because they wanted to switch it around and have South Carolina go first. But traditionally, New Hampshire goes first. And New Hampshire, was like, no, we're going to go first. Now, it was suggested to the DNC that they change it around. But again, New Hampshire was like, nah, we going to keep in lockstep with what we're doing. Of course, South Carolina is where Biden campaign in 2020 was legitimized by that of Representative James Clyburn when he put him back in the game. And so there's a lot of people in New Hampshire where it felt like they were disenfranchised. Like, wow, he won't even come get on the ballot for whatever reason, right? Specifically the one I just named. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not. And again, for an incumbent, it's not rare, but it is not usual that they are challenged. Like you said, Biden is being challenged by Marianne Williamson. She's a positive motivational speaker. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not sure how much political expertise she has. Now, she originally was the one that says, I want to give Black people, American descendants of slavery, reparations. I think she came out with a number of $10 million or something small. But nevertheless, it was her, and I don't even know who else is running against her. But against Biden. But yeah, I mean,
what are they afraid of? What are they afraid of? Let this man go out and we can talk
honestly, they're afraid, and I don't know if they're afraid of, well, in my opinion, because I was thinking about this yesterday. Have you seen Biden speak lately? Now imagine, keeping that in mind. Remember when him and Trump debated? Trump was rude as hell, but he was running circles around Biden. Biden couldn't get a word in edgewise, to the point where Biden says, shut up already. Now, a couple of years later, 4 at this point, Biden seems like whatever he may have going on with him has increased, whatever that is. Now, put Biden on the stage now with Trump. And I'm not saying Trump is smarter because he's sharper, but with Trump and Biden now. Now ask yourself again, what is the DNC afraid of? Because we know, Donovan, you and I have studied politics, you more so than I, that in regards to debates, usually people, when they watch debates, that's kind of where they make their decision, right? Okay, I like him or I like her. She's talking a good game, because y'all remember when Kamala was going after Biden, that gave her a little boost when she said, I was that girl. That was, you know what I'm saying? That people's like, okay. Even with that of Mitt Romney and Obama, when they were debating and Mitt Romney says, I have binders full of women, and so people are like, huh? Also taking it back to Nixon Kennedy, the Nixon Kennedy debate. Now, before then, debates were where? On the radio. So when they got to look at Nixon and Kennedy, Nixon did not want to wear the makeup, or anything like that. He said, I'm a man's man. But he gets on there and he's got the 5 o'clock shadow. They said he's sweating and he's just looking like a man. But Kennedy was this all-American, wasp, if you will.
Hollywood, suave, ready to go.
That. So he looked presentable. He looked more presidential. However, most people said that Nixon sounded more presidential. So that's why I think they're afraid for Biden to have a debate with anybody because it's just not going to bid well for him.
Right. But again, to defend your record and let the American people decide, to me, and like I said, even though I'm a recovering Democrat, it's almost like the Democratic Party is more authoritarian than they are talking about this. And then you don't do nothing for the Black people. And yet the burden of saving democracy falls on our shoulders. How does that happen? Go to the Asians in the Pacific Islander community. Go to the Latinos. Go to the Ike people. Let them say, because you're not doing a damn thing for us.
Yeah, and that's something too. Again, as I asked too, why don't they go to white people or Asian people or Hispanic people and say, "Oh, well, y'all, y'all got to get on board. Y'all are being contrarians. Why don't they go and do the stuff to their voters that they do to our voters? Because without Black people, not just the Black woman, not just the Black man, without Black people, the Black voters, the Democrats cannot win. So that's why there's this push, and it's downright disrespectful now. It is. Oh, y'all need a civics lesson. Y'all up here, listening to these people misleading you as if they're saying Black people do not have what it takes to think for ourselves. That's the way it's been in America, making Black people think unless we give y'all the game, y'all ain't got no game, especially when it comes to politics. And you look at some of these people, now I didn't play the video where you can see her moving. I played the still, but if you look at the video of her and any of these other, pundits, especially in our community, they got this screw face when they talking about us. Y'all need a civics lesson, So it's like, why y'all first of all being disrespectful to us? And per the slogan of the Democratic Party, democracy's in danger. If we're talking about democracy means I have a say-so, which means that I get to go to the booth and vote for who I say so, not for who you say so. So just continue to watch.
And then I want to make sure our co-hosts and our listeners understand this. Currently, the head of the DNC is a Black man. Currently, the head of the Biden re-election campaign is a Black man. There's a lot of Black people that are working in the DNC to get this man reelected. These are people that look like us. So what is that telling you about these people who see the wealth in the Black community being stolen and us being basically replaced and pushed out? And we've been born here native to the land and democratic policies. How can these people sit there and work for a party that's policy is putting illegal immigrants over Black people who have been at the bottom of this social economic system from the get-go? How can they look at their moms and their loved ones and other people that have that skin and say everything is above board? It's amazing to me that the Black Boule is doing this. All of that money that the HBCUs got and all that other stuff, you don't see one Sororo or anybody of that challenging what has happened in the last 3 years. It's just amazing to me. But I want you guys to remember that the head of the DNC is a Black man, and he lost miserably in Georgia. He got mollywopped. And these are the type of people that is making policy toward Black people. So basically, our own people are keeping us a permanent underclass, because we are a permanent underclass now. There is no other way you can convince me that we're not.
Absolutely. Hannah, if you say off topic, why do you think the mainstream media is ignoring the real wake up in Africa, specifically all the nations standing up to Europe, because they don't want everybody else to follow suit? That is why, because especially here in America, they have trained us to listen to the media, right? Whatever goes out in the media. And we know there's a lot of misinformation, propaganda, and all that. So they don't want us to follow suit. But it's always up to us, to go and search for that information. But that is why. That's why I believe. And let's see here. Hello, Carla Thunder. How you doing here? Let's see who else came on here. We got a lot of people on here. So I want to make sure that we keep up. Who else came on here? And I'm reading your comments in Missouri. If I didn't already, how you doing? It says, we will not get back in line. Our children are fighting to help their parents and grandparents. Our black men are not happy, so we gotta black first be together. Absolutely, I totally agree with you. Who else came on here? Norris, you say this is a state of emergency. Millennial, Gen X, Gen Z are as brainwashed as the baby boomers. A state of emergency for real. I totally agree with you. Extreme X, how are you doing today? Black America says women hold 66% of student loan debt, and black women hold the highest percentage of that debt, which is why it needs to be forgiven. Denise, how you doing? He says, no, the head of the DNC ain't black. He's supporting Biden. Yeah, Jamie Harrison. Last time I checked, he was the chairman of the DNC, so he is a black man.
He is the chairman. He's currently the chairman. That is absolutely right.
Will, how you doing? It says more like if you don't get off the bench, we can't play this game. Laugh out loud. Absolutely. And Deborah, how are you doing today? Michelle W, how you doing? It says black so-called leaders do not care anything about the average black American. They are all about themselves and enriching their families. Oh, yes, indeed. That's what it's about. I mean, because if it wasn't, then why aren't they going out there and actually using their platforms to really help black people, right? Thunder, you say, question, did anyone hear Mrs. Obama say she's afraid? My question is, why should we be afraid? What will happen that has not or is not happening now? Yes, I guess she was on somebody's podcast and she said she was afraid basically of a Trump presidency. But she was also mad at black people for not showing up like we did for her husband.
Keeping his legacy.
Yeah, voting for Hillary. So she was mad about that. But it's like, again, what are you afraid of? As I said the other day, you on Martha's Vineyard and you got Secret Service detail. Ain't nobody coming next to you. But again, to her, if she says she's afraid, then all the other black people will say, oh, Michelle's afraid. I'm afraid. It's scare tactics at its finest, because the other question we'd have to ask Mrs. Obama, what are you afraid of? And what happened during the Trump presidency that didn't happen under Biden or Obama? Like, what did Trump do adverse to black people that wasn't already being done or is being done now? No, they'll never be able to answer that.
Right. And then for those guys that don't remember, when the migrants showed up on Martha Vineyard for all the rich people, it was a problem and they got them up out of there. So that tells you a lot.
Hey, Gwendolyn, how you doing? It says, not voting until I hear tangible. Yeah, a lot of people are saying just that. And I want to be careful not to skip everybody, because I know there's a lot of people on here. Let's see here. King David the One, how you doing? Me and Phil Sharon for president. We don't want that stress. At least I don't. They don't want me to be president. They be like, okay, that's enough. You gotta go.
Yeah, Dimitri, I think you would be too biased to a certain group. So yeah, you know, if you're going to be president, you got to be. What? If you got to be president, you got to be a president for everybody, just like the CBC. We represent everybody. If you became president, you would be too biased to one group, the black group. So
I mean, I would legislate for everybody, but I'm gonna make sure my people get something. You know, like everybody else's people get something. Why black people can't get nothing specifically? Asians get something specifically. Hispanics, Afghans, Ukrainians, and all the migrants, they coming over here getting something specifically. But black people, we can't afford it, or we got to wait, or I can't just do anything for black people. Now, you know what I'm saying? Or I'll be damned if I'm made to be feel responsible for what my ancestors did. But we get those answers, right? So yeah, I'm gonna get in there and get my people what we've been asking for since our ancestors were begrudgingly let off that plantation. So yeah.
Hey, when you get a chance, read Norris's comment when you get a chance, when you get down there.
Okay, so I'm moving down. I just want to say hello to everybody. Valerie, if I didn't already, how you doing? Says no more taking the black vote and helping everyone else but blacks, and the Latinos did tell them to come for their vote. That's funny when most of them are not even citizens. Yeah, they're trying to change that though. Gigi, how you doing? And let's see, Norris, the one that says, showed 10 black people a Dimitri K podcast. They told me to turn it off after 5 minutes. Oh God. Brainwashing so deep. Well, you know, you tried, but don't stop trying. If you get one person to think about it, great. Because our job is to give them the knowledge and it's their job to take it. If they don't want to take it, we can't make them, right? But we tell them nevertheless. But big ups to you for trying. All right, so let's see who else came on here. TYP 1970, how you doing? Says they want you to vote for them because our parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents voted for them. They are not the same Democrats. That is true. And that can't keep being an excuse. Well, my grandmama's grandmama, then, you know, they all voted for the Democrats. It's like you said, it was a different time, different generation. At least the baby boomers, they got something, whether we like it or not, they got something for that vote. But us, you know, we keep talking about, I'm a vote blue no matter who. It's like, really? Now, what civic lesson did you take to tell you that? You know what I'm saying? When people talk about, oh, you need a civic lesson, ask them, where in any book or civic lesson does it say, quote, vote blue no matter who, unquote? Where does it say that? Ask them. And I guarantee you they don't get the stutter. Michael, how you doing? Says Michelle and Barack are millionaires who live in one of their mansions throughout this country with the Secret Service detail. What in God's name is she afraid of? Right. So I should have read your comment. Absolutely. It's fear tactics. It's fear mongering. And Rosandi, I hope I said that right. He says, and Trump damn sure not giving us anything, especially reparations. Yeah, but Trump ain't coming after the black vote like the Democrat either, are they? He's not.
Trump said he is going to have the biggest deportation in the history of the planet, which helps black people, and he's going to finish the wall.
That's what he said. And Will, you says, me as president would be, leave me alone. I don't want to deal with that subject right now. And Zakiah, you say, if the migrants don't have to vote to get a check, then I don't either. Right. And now, I don't know if y'all heard Representative Jamal Bowman of New York is proposing HR 414 that is saying that he wants to give American descendants of slavery $14 trillion. Some of that is going to be allocated towards getting voting rights reinstated for inmates, past and present, I think education and some other stuff. And when they broke it down, it says it's about $333,000 per African American, you know, but it won't be given as a lump sum. It's going to be given over a period of time. I'm telling you, a period of time.
Oh man, that's what they do in the military. You come in a $50,000 bonus, and it's over the period of time of your contract. Don't do that.
He says it could be over 5, 10, or 20 years that you can get this money.
But precedent has been set when the Asians got theirs for being interned, they got a lump sum. When the Jews got their money, they got a lump sum. When the Ukrainians came over here, 250,000 of them, they got a lump sum. Why is it that everybody else can get a lump sum and the Asians got a lump sum in their Asian crime bill? They sure did. Why is it when it comes to black people, either we get a study or we get our money gradually over time? You've already set the precedent. I would sue them and sue their damn pants off.
And Lene, how you doing? Says, what do you think of Trump's attorney, Alina Habba? I don't know her because I know he does have a copious amount of attorneys.
That woman needs to go back to defending parking garage infractions. She doesn't know what she's doing, and she's that bad. She doesn't know law. And you guys got to understand, being a lawyer, there's specialized areas of law. So, you know, I think she represented the president because, number one, he probably liked the way she looked. And when you do represent the president, that does help your practice because, you know, if it's a high profile client, that helps you get more high profile clients.
Rhonda, how you doing? And I would love to read all y'all comments, but I'm gonna make sure I get everybody's comment at least 5 times throughout this program. So bear with us here. And I also want to share the link just to kind of get you guys' opinion, but I'll do that in just a second. Rhonda, you said good evening regarding Charlemagne. He was on Piers Morgan and MSNBC recently, and he basically said he's back on the buying train. So basically, they rearranged his understanding if he knows what's good for him, right? I wonder if that's what took place. Okay, so let's see here. It said, tell Jamal to beat it. Absolutely. And Black America says, how is getting rid of migrants going to help Black Americans? Man, we done been over this a million times. You keep on asking the same old question. Let's see here. William, how are you doing? Since that reparations bill is a finesse. You think so? Because I think so. Brother Jonelle, how you doing? Oops, where it go? It says, peace, Queen, Brother Donovan, and family. Yes, indeed. And Easy said they still getting money annually, Donovan. And Sister Shirley, how you doing? Says, don't be fooled by the Democrats. And I live in New York City, so you really in the thick of it. You see everything for the most part that's going on. And Denise, she says, we will not settle for the drop payday plan. Yeah, it's like, come on, Jamal. By now, you know that Black people don't want you to allocate and tell us what to do with the money. You know, why do you need to include in reparations that inmates, past and present, should be able to vote? Just make it so. That don't have to cost no money. But it's that, you know, those little things that they think we like is symbolism. Or do this, do that, do this, or just think we just gonna be. I mean, as I said, because I covered the story, California, Donovan, how much does it cost to live in California annually?
Annually? I mean, you just in general.
In general, give or take.
I'd say $60,000, $80,000 just to live.
A year?
A year.
Yeah, it's actually more than that, depending on where you live in California.
Right.
I think San Francisco's in the 200,000.
Oh, 200,000, yeah.
Yeah, Los Angeles is, you know, up in that area.
Yeah,
So
I'm talking about like Fresno, where there's nobody there, there's nothing there. 60,000, 80,000.
Okay, well, if you get $333,000, what, in 3-4 years is gone. You know, so
didn't they used to say for Americans you should have at least 6 months of savings and something like that? And when the pandemic happened, how many of you guys actually think Americans have 6 months of saving? The average American. Everybody's living paycheck to paycheck. Everybody.
Absolutely. Common Man says $1 million life insurance policy costs about $500 a month. I can pay the money. Why don't they call me? Because they want to keep us poor. That's why. Yeah. And I mean, and depending on what type of policy you get, it probably wouldn't even cost that much. Just, you know, there's a lot of variables, of course, but I get what you're saying. And didn't have to be here running wild. How you doing? And thank you, Miss Sweet Talks, for reminding people to hit the like button. Love it. Appreciate you for that. And the mirror likes me. All right. Now I like that affirmation. Said it's not a reparation study. They're setting the stage to make Latinos make Blacks irrelevant. Okay, so it's not, you're right. It's not a reparation study. A reparation study is HR 40. This is HR 414.
Right. And you know, and I like that that tag as well. The mirror likes me as well. But the thing is with the Latinos to make Blacks irrelevant, I try to tell people, if you're in Chicago, New York, Houston, Dallas, a lot of the major cities, Seattle, whatever, look at what happened to Los Angeles. That is a prime example of gentrification. And that one, it took about 40 years to do what they did in LA, but now they're doing it on a fast track. And I would advocate for anybody, if you live in Wisconsin, you know, any of these major cities that are pretty big cities, Green Bay, whatever it is, and you got a Black neighborhood, do not fall for what LA fell for, because again, why LA fell so quickly to the Latino agenda and this Democratic agenda, because it's an attack on Black people by the Democratic Party, not by the Republican Party, because the Republicans are happy to keep the Blacks in their neighborhoods. They're happy to do that. We are right there by the border, so we've been dealing with this illegal immigration for over 40, 50 years. Do not fall for what happened. Look at what happened to Los Angeles. This is what they're doing to these major cities. So you guys have got the blueprint of what is happening, because LA is no longer Black. What is it? 6% of people in LA are now
less than 6%.
Less than 6%.
And that's California in general. Let me go back here just a minute. Let's see. And Suki B, thank you so much for the donation. Love and appreciate you. Says Black first must stop voting Democrats. That's the first time I've heard that one before. Y'all got a whole lot of names for them folks. Okay, let's see. And Mike, thank you so much for the donation. Love and appreciate you. Says Pro Sandy, Professor Sandy, says every foundational Black American man, woman, and child is owed about $450,000 tax-free dollars. Check.
I'd have to disagree with that. I'd have to disagree. 17 trillion is the minimum of what they're saying, right? If it's 17 trillion. Now remember, if we're 14%, according to the census, if we're 14% of the population, we could be 25% of the population. You've got to half that in half of the FBA, because everybody that identifies as Black is an FBA, right? So half that in half. $17 trillion is a lot of money. You're talking about, according to the numbers that, I forgot who the expert was that did the numbers, that's $550 million minimum a month. for those of us that are FBA. So that number, wherever you got that number, is way low. Is way low.
Right. So yeah, it's a lot of money, nevertheless. And hello to everybody that's come on here. Okay, let's see. Buckhorse, she says they owe my people. Period. Right. Common Man say, yep. And Beverly, you say, so after the LA riots, the government started gentrification. Yeah, and they, one could probably argue it started well before that. Let's see here, an extreme
Yeah, I would say they started the gentrification of LA in the 80s. That's why they dropped the drugs and stuff in the neighborhoods done by the CIA, admitted by the United States government. They intentionally did it.
And Michelle, how you doing? He says, we are owed way more than that. Absolutely. And Extreme Extra says, there's no way we are 14% of this country. And some people are saying that it's more. But I just kind of think about it, especially since a lot of people are delineating. So basically saying, oh, I'm Nigerian or I am Ghanaian or whatever, or I'm Black American. Were they including all Black people from all over the world that are now here in America? Because if so, is that number for Black Americans going to be lower? I don't know. I'm just asking questions.
Right. And then now, on the FAFSA, they're starting to separate the different genres of Black. Just like you got the Latinos, you got the Latino this, Latino that. Now they've got like Black Caribbean, Black African, so on and so forth, because there is a difference.
So I'm going to share this link. And I want people who are to come up here, just to tell us what you think of the Democrats, if you will, continually trying to keep Black people on the Democratic plantation to continue voting for more of nothing. And I will ask that if I have not seen you on here before, please show me your face before I bring you up to the big screen. Just know that no one else but me can see you. Also, come up here. Please keep your commentary short. So that other people can come up to express themselves. I would also say if you've kind of been up here before, let's allow other people to come up and be able to express themselves. If you don't mind, please and thank you. So I'm going to share the link right now. Who else came on here? Samuel C., how are you doing? So let me go ahead and share it. All right, the link is about to be up. Let's see how this goes. So again, I need to see your face before I bring you up here. Also, just but please, watch the language that we say. Y'all know what we can and cannot say on these platforms. And ask your question or say what it is you need to say. And then I'm going to click you off so that other people can come on. So the link, if you guys are on Twitter, X, or Facebook, I put it in the YouTube section because that's the only place I can put it from where I'm at. So this is going to be interesting. I'm quite sure. But in the meantime, let's see who else. Brother Jonelle, you say, we are owed the whole country. World War III will change all things. The former owners will be no more. Yeah, some people are saying that, or asking rather, are we on the verge of that? Because there's a lot more activity going on in the Middle East if you're paying attention. So I don't know. I guess it really remains to be seen. And Jay, how you doing? He says, I think I will vote independent if I vote at all this coming election. Yeah. And I think most Black people should register to be independent, nonpartisan. That way, no party assumes that you're going to vote for them, right? You register Democrat or Republican, then people just kind of assume that you are going to vote for them. They should have to earn your vote and never assume that that's who you are voting for. And LaShox, I hope I said that right. It says reparations in this country is for our people whose families, were enslaved in this country. Absolutely. Denise, you say, you are right about the FAFSA. I marked other and filled in Foundation of Black American. And the white lady who had the RBG candle says on her desk was clutching her pearls. The maker of all music. He says, how is America in best to China when they are in debt to us here in America? Okay. Star Child says,
wait, well, what do they mean by that? We owe China billions. We're in debt to China.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe I read it wrong, but no, it says, how is America in best to China? So I think maybe you meant in debt to China when they are in debt to us here in the United States. Yes, it's the other way around.
We are literally borrowing money right now from China to give to Israel, to give to the Ukrainian. That's where this money's coming from. That's where this money's coming from, and we're paying on that.
1619 Brood, how you doing? Says in the middle of a reconstruction 2.0, the first one didn't work so well because them folks were running it. I'm running this one with the help from the Most High. Okay, all right now. Okay, well, do tell. So, and Yanni, how are you doing today? I hope you are doing well. Enraged Pinky told one of my favorite YouTube names. He said it's the equivalent to a pimp convincing, oh God, a hoe to stay in his stable. Where they're whole, there are pimp, plain and simple. Okay, well, you did.
Hey, you got it, pretty Tony. Your woman chose me. You heard that part? Your woman chose me. Now we can get into some real gangster shit.
Right. Then after a while, they said, stick yourself. Told him, stick yourself.
You ain't no pimp. You a booty wrestler. What did he say?
Yeah, because he thought he killed up on his mama. Sister Shirley says, if we're only 14%, then that means for every death we'll have to be a birth. How long? We've been at 14%.
We've been at 14 to 13%, believe it or not, since the 1960s. And they do that to reduce our representation and to reduce our access to resources. That's why they keep our number. And think about it. You got the CBC, all of these civil rights icons. Nobody talks about how is it for 60 years we have been at that level. They don't talk about it. Even to this very day, the CBC members, nobody brings it up.
Michael, I'm going to kick you off because you on here every week, and I want some new people to come on. So next time I'm going to let you come on, but I want to allow other people to come on so that they can give their opinion. But I'm going to read your comment. Nevertheless, it says Chinese Americans are against Black people attending schools for STEM. Not only are they hurting against Black people, the Chinese are hurting other Asians as well. Yeah, I haven't heard a lot about that, but I have a niece that's in STEM Academy. She's been there since junior high. She's about to graduate high school, and it's a tough program, but she got in there and she likes it. So it's a good program, to say the least. Okay, so let's see here. Dr. Lauren, he says Chinese are buying up land across America. America doesn't have as much money as the Chinese. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's see. Dwayne Glover says, don't let the Democrat buck dancers fool you. They are plants. Okay. And Jeb, how you doing? He says, good evening, Auntie Demetria. How's the family? Wonderful. And Uncle Donovan, where are the kitties and the actual cat? Haha, update. A lot of people from Latin America here are heading to the U.S. I sent Donovan info. Yeah, that's not surprising, right? As we've seen a lot of them. And Common Man says 100% correct. Donovan and Williams says, I am in the Los Angeles area in Burbank. So, it costs a pretty penny to live there. Like, what, 200,000 comfortably?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Black America says we have more abortions in our community than any other race. And it's a matter of disproportionate. It said that white women actually have about 36% of abortions. Of course, and there's an argument of are they reporting? Are they going to their private doctors or whatever happening? And Black women, when I looked, it was about 34%. Now, some people say, well, white women are having more. But if you look at the population of white women to that of Black women are not as much in population as white women. So the fact that it's to the tune of, in the 30% each of them, then we're talking about disproportionately that Black women actually have more abortions, if that makes any sense. Easy says the American public policy has created this enormous wealth gap. Oh yeah, that in addition to stolen land, not our ancestors not being paid for the labor that was stolen from them, mass incarceration, Jim Crow, sharecropping, you know how that worked, convict leasing, and even the disparity in banking with loans and redlining and stuff, even as today. So it's a whole lot of stuff that goes into making the wealth gap even larger. They said it'll take about 232 years to close the wealth gap if nothing is done, nothing being like reparations. So you're absolutely right. All right, let me skip on down here to catch up. Nora, she says, I want to hear new people with new solutions. Okay. Yeah, we always appreciate people who come on here, but yes, let's see if somebody else wants to come up and say or speak their mind, ask a question if they will. So I'm going to share the link again in case somebody else wants to come up here. LaShock, she said, I don't know why they allow these people to come here and even get in a conversation about laws. We can't go to China and change nothing. They'll throw you straight in jail. Right. But here in America, it's kind of open for everybody to do whatever they want. But yeah, I've traveled quite a bit, and Donovan's traveled even more so than me. And, and of course, you guys have too. You can't go into other people's countries and say, oh, I'm just passing through paperwork. What's that? I'm gonna go do what I want to do. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna give me some money. I'm gonna go give me somewhere to live. Y'all gonna give me some food, and I'm not paying for none of it. You can't go do that nowhere. I don't even think you could just really go over into Mexico and do that.
Show me where you can go into a country and say, I'm here to work, and not do it the right way. They're not gonna let you in, especially in a lot of these countries. What's the saying? I think that if you make $60,000, you were in the top 20% of people in the world. So a lot of these countries are poor, right? You think you're actually going to go into those countries and say, hey, I'm here to work, and they're going to let you in? That's your excuse to integrate into their society and seek asylum? It's not going to happen. And then speaking of which, Dimitri, I think it was Wangel on the African Diaspora News Channel. They have over 2 million undocumented white people illegally living in South Africa. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my goodness. She blew that story out of the water. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, and it's like, but why? Why are they there? Just because I know when we went, we had to check in and out. You know what I mean?
And remember the upbringing of the Zimbabweans coming in, and the Nigerians were coming in, and they were just mad at that. About 4 million people live in Soweto that are illegal. And the South Africans are mad about that because it takes away from jobs and their outcomes. But you got over 2 million white people that are living in South Africa illegally right now, and you don't hear about it, and they're treated differently because their white friends are employing them under the table and all that stuff. And then because they're white and they're driving in their nice cars or whatever, nobody approaches them. You're in a black country, and that colonizer mindset will not let them go and even ask that white person what their papers, please.
Yeah, and we've been to South Africa, and it's just it's a beautiful place. The people are lovely, but it is disheartening to see the dynamics there. I think white people are less than 10% of the population, black people being 90% there in South Africa, and white folks is running the show. So it's like 2 million of them just running around footloose, fancy free, ain't nobody checking them. But like you said, they before we got there, there was some sort of a war or something, because they were mad that the Ethiopians or the Nigerians or something.
The Nigerians and the Zimbabweans were coming in off the borders. Yeah.
Yeah, and they said, but like the week before we got there, they was taking each other out and all that other stuff. And they were like, well, they're coming over here and taking the jobs or just that and the other. And it's not right. It's not fair. But it's like you got 2 million them folks running around, and you ain't mad at that. But that also should tell us that, the self-hate we have for each other is universal. And it's unfortunate. So that needs to change. Easy said they all got good jobs too, Donovan. Okay. And CFL Network, how you doing? He says they are in Birmingham too. Suki B says independent is the way to go. Sway your vote in the best direction for you. Yep, that's the way it should be. Black America, you say, they say it more illegal Canadian people than Mexicans. So there's more illegal Canadian people than Mexican. It could be. I don't know.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when it comes to the Canadian border, before we had this immigration problem, the Canadian border is basically open because I drove the Alaska Highway 3 times. And all I got to do is say I'm an American, and they let me in and they cross, whatever. But if you watch that show Border Wars or something, they sometimes check and ask you some questions, because a lot of Americans, because weed is legal, you can't go into another country. And so they're kind of, stopping Americans at the border now because they're bringing that bullshit into their country.
Yep. And Michelle says, how are the greatest manifestations of human population arguing and going back and forth with the people who know our story better than some of us do? JJ says, I know some folks who farm in South Africa and in Arkansas. And Common Man says, I make $60,000 in retirement pay. I do nothing and get paid for it. I'm home all day, and it's guaranteed monthly payments, and I'm bored. Well, I'm sure there's a lot of single, nice young ladies out there that will help you not be bored. They'll help you figure out what to do with all of that money that you're just sitting at home collecting. I'm sure of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, and the funny thing is, you guys hear that they are seriously pushing. Florida got rid of forever alimony, and they're pushing no fault divorce to go away. In a lot of state capitals, they are it hasn't passed or anything, but it's been put to the floors, and you got to have a reason to get out of your marriage, and not because you're bored is not a good one. And women are just upset.
Whatever. King Azil, Azriel, how you doing? And Star Child says they hurt their own. It's crazy. So I'm gonna put the link up again. I see nobody is taking except for the usual people, which is fine. We love and appreciate y'all for that. But I'd like to see some new people come up. And Easy says, nah, D, the young women will suck all that retirement to zero. But you know what? He'll leave out here a happy man. He'll be happy with his money well spent. But yeah, there's so much going on in the world of politics. This is going to be a very interesting year because we are seeing something we've never seen before. And that's especially in a long time, right? In our generation, we're seeing Black people actually wake up and start to be more conscious about the way we vote. We are starting to see Black people say, hey, not this time. William, how are you doing?
Oh, great. How about yourself?
Doing fabulous. What's on your mind?
Figure out how to turn this volume up if you're in the background here.
You having a hard time hearing us?
Yeah.
Ooh. He clicked off, so maybe he'll come back on here so we can hear what William has to say. But in the meantime, I'll continue to read the comments. Michelle says the young women will have him buying fake rear ends. I hope not. I'm trying to be careful here. Well, actually, Donovan, it was you, I think, that put up the video of the women getting the BBLs, and the doctor was saying that people are going. They said, I think, Houston, Los Angeles, and then overseas like the DR places. Those are very popular.
And Las Vegas as well.
Yeah, destinations to getting BBLs, and of course they're done on the cheap. They said in Vegas, I think you could get one for like $7,000. There's like $7,000. But he says the crazy part about it is because these procedures are relatively new within the last, I don't know, maybe 10 years or so. Nobody really knows what the long-term effects of those BBLs are going to be. You'll have women walking around, and some men, because let's keep it a buck, some men are getting BBLs too, walking around is going to be dragging on the ground. So it'll be a sight to see. But so, William, can you hear us now? And Jeb,
Yes.
thank you so much. It gifted 50 memberships. All right, now, thank you so much for that. All right, so what's on your mind?
I'm thinking, maybe instead of having these wonderful conversations, maybe we need to start taking some plan of action. And I'm thinking we need to get together and start having some what you call strategic planning sessions. We get together and talk about how do we get rid of these people who want to attack our children like they are in New York, going after the STEM program, and kick the National Black Lawyers Association in the butt for not helping the community. You have all these associations that are designed to be national Black associations, but yet they don't do anything for us. They don't help us. So we need to find a way we can all get together and find strategic ways to kick these people in gear, or find a way to take punitive measures against them for not doing their job for us. We're suffering out here. We need legislation and go after legal ways to attack people, just like they're attacking us. Back against the Asian community, because they're going after our kids, don't want to see us in school. I think the problem with that is they just don't want to go to school with us. They don't want to compete. They're complaining with the Latinos because that Black and Brown Alliance. Apparently, they were going to use the Black and Asian, the Asian and Latino, the Asian and Latino alliance, and that's not working because they're fighting together too. So while they're fighting each other and they're going to keep the show going, we get together, strategize, and develop a plan of attack. And one of my develop is for a particular nasty person on Twitter who likes to talk about Black people. She likes to talk about how Blacks are failing in school and stuff. When I could go on Facebook and find kids at 14 going to college and everything and advancing themselves way ahead of many times. So I'm thinking maybe one of the things we can do as a group is start going in there every day. We bombard Miss Yap with Asians committing crimes since they're such good law-abiding citizens, and provide them, show them pictures daily of our kids getting advances in school. And we can, as a group, we get to put a stop to this because they want our attention. Maybe they should get our undivided attention for like every day for like 60 days. And there's more than enough of us to remind them that we're here. You want our attention? Okay, clown. Or Alpha Hotel, you got it. Another thing I want to tell you is I wonder if you guys got to notice that Brandon Johnson is just feeling so under the weather. He's stressed out these days. He's been slipping into the hospital for, believe it or not, panic attacks.
Really?
Migrants are driving the poor man crazy.
Yeah, I heard that early this morning.
I posted it in the comment section over there so you can see it. Yes, Brandon Johnson is stressed out. And I think the information about him slipped out because he didn't want it, but a webpage out of Chicago mentioned it briefly. But yeah, Brandon Johnson's feeling under the weather.
What did he think he was signing up for? Especially when you dupe, a large section of your voters in the voting for you. I mean, Brandon Johnson, this has been a year almost because they had a runoff in April last year. So not quite a year. He duped Black people into voting for him. And then like right when the ink dried on the paperwork, then he got the helping migrants. And so what did he think was going to happen? Did he think he was going to say, oh, hush now, Black people, do as I say?
But Demetra, sweet Jesus, you got to be Christian, you Black folks, because they're just like us.
Oh, get out of here with that.
Jesus is going to come. Isn't that his mantra? He gets in there and he went straight to the Christian book. Oh, they're just like us. Oh, we got to help our fellow man. You got to help yourself first. You got to help yourself first.
Well, he bit the steak, but they wouldn't even let him hand it back. They put their hand over his mouth and say, now choke on it.
Yeah, because I'm confused as to what did he think was going to happen. Did you think he was just going to go home and eat your wife's fried chicken and mashed potatoes and say, oh, I did a good job today at the office? You got Black people who were mad talking about we turned Chicago red, the Democrats are done, and they're using, Brandon Johnson as, the poster guy for that. He's kind of like the nail in the coffin, like, okay, enough. The Democrats have already been thumbing their noses at us, and here you come making it worse.
Well, that's why I say it's time to fight back. We need to get together in groups or something, start some strategic planning sessions in places where we can talk amongst ourselves and devise some plans of attack and get these, and reward ourselves. We can get a lot of wins going since they already don't like taking L's and they don't want to let it go.
Well, can I add this to you though? And I'm not trying to be a naysayer or nothing like that. You got Black men in the community, and we rarely have a community that is not there and absent. So, and I'm not saying women can't lead, because again, we have Black people in all sorts of positions: police chiefs, judges, congressmen, vice president, former president, and yet we can't get anything done. And at the local level where we're at, Demetra will tell you, I go to city council meetings and I'm the only Black person in the spot talking issues that deal with our community. So let me just ask you this question. How can we get together if we are so busy trying to make a living, whatever our distractions are? How can we get together?
Well, places like this, for one. Number two, we're just going to have to make a concentrated effort to go on our shows when we have them and talk these out. And since we know we how to use code words, we create code words that we say, and then we just pick a date and we initiate that plan. But everybody those who are on code already know the language that we use for PC, and they know what that means. So right now we're not sharing that information, and we don't. We come up with our plans, think what needs to be done, and somebody shows how to take that initiative, and we go forward from there. Since we're scattered all over, because here in Burbank there aren't that many of us, they're starting to get more, but it's really difficult, but it can be done. We can get together and start everything else. We can start the latest dance craze on the internet.
Okay.
We can show pictures of people twerking. We can talk about who's over here doing what. I mean, look what happened to Brick Lady. She got a oops upside the head. Now, my thing is what I want to see happen to her She want to be a citizen? We give her 10 years citizenship in one of our penitentiaries. 10 years minimum. 10
Are they
years
still looking
citizenship
for
and
her?
immediate deportation once she's done. Goodbye.
Did
Yes,
she
yeah,
turn
yeah.
herself in yet?
No,
And
not
hold
yet.
on a second. The one, how you doing, says, can we start Roland Martin and their crew to stop spewing Democratic propaganda? Well, y'all
I'd
know where
love
he is
to.
on you said you love Roland?
I said I'd love to stop him sometime, but
Oh,
he
yeah.
does have freedom of speech, even if
Well,
it's wrong.
right. But maybe go over to his channel. Y'all know where he is and say, hey, Roland, you're not keeping it a buck with Black people. Why don't you really talk about the migrant situation? So, he's
Yeah,
got a comment section where you
that's
can
action.
really, stick it to him and say, what's really going on here?
Go after Diane Yap and this other heifer up there that don't want to go to school with our kids. And we need to go after
Oh,
that
I
crazy
know who you're talking
Nigerian.
about. Yeah,
Yeah.
Diane Gap. I know who you're talking about.
And then we can tackle Ed Racist Bloom. That's gonna be a tough one.
The lawyer.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
He one of them.
what?
You remember that special small hat community,
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Well, I really think with what's happening with everybody waking up and seeing reality out their front doors, how we start to do some of the changes is changing the way we vote and actually mean what we say. And Maxine Waters, you're not going to be in there for 30 years and do nothing. If you don't do and make an agenda and be unapologetic, because like you, I'm out here in Moreno Valley. We have a brother that represents us in the assembly right now. And I've already told him, if you don't do what it is we need you to do in this area, you're up out of there. It's going to be a one term and done. And if we start doing that, then and start really looking to the younger people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the biggest problems that we have is you got Barbara Lee and these old people that should have been retired and sitting on their asses at home enjoying their great grandkids that are still in power. And I think that if we start picking and letting these younger people that are mature, within 30, 35, whatever, and start leading, I think that would be a better situation. But at the same time, let them know, if you don't do what it is you're supposed to do, you saw what happened January 6th, right? They didn't vote. They didn't do anything. They said, this is the message we are going to send. And here it is, 3 years later. Look at all these Republicans getting in line, doing what it is that their constituents want them to do. So I think, if we vote the right way and actually mean it, it could change the narrative in these bootlegs.
I agree. It's somewhere Matt Gaetz started paying attention to him.
Yeah. I saw that story where Matt Gaetz said, well, basically if the Karen's white lady stop voting, then there's Jamal and there's Julio. There's plenty.
I've been called worse.
Huh?
I said I've been called worse.
Right.
Jamal.
Y'all know he's saying Black men and Latino men. They'll replace Karen if she don't want to show up, as he said, for MAGA, that section of the Republican Party.
Freaking Magatron.
Right.
I call Trump. That old Magatron over there.
Right. And they're definitely paying attention, though. They're definitely
they're paying attention, whether they answer us or not. They see us.
Absolutely. Yanni, you crazy. Talking about I thought Maxine Waters was in a nursing home. Is she?
She probably is now after walking that 2 miles in them high heel shoes from the King Parade. She might be laid up somewhere.
No, she's up there at Calabasas chilling in her mansion. She's doing her thing.
I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm gonna get on up out of here.
Right.
Thank
you
so much
for coming up here.
All right.
Bye.
How do I get out of here now?
Oh, I can help you here. Let me help you. Let's see.
Yeah, and the thing is, Jesse Paris, was known as the Che Nkrumah, says, I've been attending my local council meetings for 8 years now and ran for office twice on a B1 agenda. And just like you, I did the same thing. I ran twice. Well, I had to run twice because it was a special election. Because special election, you got to run again if you don't win. You get your name out there. But yeah, we got to really start it from the grassroots. If we can sit here on these platforms and talk and exchange ideas and have conversation here, we got to start at the local levels, which starts at your city council meetings, and start sending messages and sending people sitting up on the dais that look like us. In my town, even though it's known as Moreno Valley, there's nothing. Well, we have now, I think it's one Black person up there, 4 Hispanics. Nothing wrong with it. But the point is, how do you expect 4 Hispanics to represent Black issues?
No, they're not going to.
Right.
They're not going. I see y'all want to have a conversation about Brick Lady, Lord hammers. And Michelle says Brick Girl saw the opportunity to get a bag through theft by deception and Willie D promoted her false allegations. All skin folk ain't kin folk. Some people just want visibility.
A lot of people promoted her agenda at the time, and I'm not like dogging them out, but Demetra still tells me this all the time. When an issue comes out, we should wait it out a couple of days to see how it plays out so we can get their actual true facts. Unfortunately, Black people, again, we are very emotional, and it is so easy to play us because you got some women that are very feminist out there, and you got men that are patriarchy and all this other stuff, and you just play those heartstrings, and men are just dangerous and whatever. How many of you guys have seen the apology videos? Where are the apology videos? I haven't seen one.
Yeah, I admittedly have not been on the internet a lot in the last couple of days. I really try not to go on there unless I have to, maybe like look for stories or something like that. If I'm, trying to go to sleep, I'll look. So I haven't seen any apology videos either. In fact, I haven't seen a whole lot of people talk about this story. I just kind of read an article about it, and a couple people told me about it when it happened. I also understand that she is on the run. Sounds like she was supposed to turn herself in with Dr. Candace Matthews and Brother Quanell X. They were supposed to facilitate a drop off and turn in to Harris County. But it sounds like she left them hanging from what I understand. Again, I don't know everything. I don't understand everything. I don't understand.
Wait a minute. You live in Houston, don't you? Let's go look at some of your, who's in the back room over there? Who's that was moving?
No, I don't know anything of the Brick Lady. It's first time I've ever heard of her is when, of course, she leveled the allegation that Black men hit her with a brick, which is why she got the name Brick Lady. Sounds like she was at a nightclub somewhere and she got bricked or whatever. And so we did cover the story here. And I was vehement about, I don't know if it's true or not. Although Black America says that me and him got into a heated argument that I was defending Brick Lady, which is a lie. I wasn't defending Brick Lady because I don't know if she was telling the truth or not. I think my argument was more or less that happens a lot, not just to Black women, but to women in general, but as a Black woman, I can speak for us that sometimes it is dangerous to tell a man no or to reject him. I think most sisters got a story to tell, some not so bad and some very bad. But again, that's not saying that all Black men are doing that. And that was not a defense for that of Rhoda. I think that's her name. Because I said, I don't know if she's telling the truth or not. Time will tell. And of course, time sounds like it told on her. I did see a video of her. I guess she was in Jamaica. She's very ebullient about being there. We need to celebrate as Black women. Now, some people are saying perhaps she took, because she raised about $42,000 for via a GoFundMe due to what she alleged happened to her. So some people are saying that she was over there with the money that she raised, and it's not the first time.
That's not true because GoFundMe said they refunded everybody their money because they froze the account. See, and that's what I'm saying. Everybody, I'm not saying you, Demetra, but it's like we get the information, but we don't use our logical thinking skills to kind of say, wait a minute, if they gave all the money back and they froze the account, if she's in Jamaica, she's obviously over there on her own money or whatever it is. So.
Yeah, and depending on where she went or whatever the case is, nevertheless, it sounds like she was not telling the truth. But the thing about that is, if you're doing something like that, more than likely people will find out. Of course, we had the Carly Russell situation where she said somebody had snatched her off the middle of the road as she was checking on a baby that was in the middle of the road in the middle of the night. Of course, that came out to not be true. And so, again, that's not an indictment of all Black women because all Black women do not lie on Black men. But of course, a lot of people are wanting to make the difference that, that particular woman, Rhoda, is of Somali descent, being from Somalia. Of course, it sounds like Houston, along with a couple other places in the United States, have a large Somalian population, if you will. And so I've seen a lot of, or I've heard some people rather talk about put the blame where the blame was due. That's not on all Black women. And she, being a Somalian woman, blamed Black men for doing that to her. So it is just so much to come out. But whether she'll turn herself in, didn't they revoke her passport or something like that? So she ain't gonna get too far.
But, remember we were talking the other day, for these allegations and stuff, why is she making it even worse? Because if I was the judge and this woman is on the run before she even sees me so I could levy bail, I would say she's a flight risk right now, But again, I'm not trying to stir anything up. We have a problem in our community with accountability. These newer, younger people have a problem with accountability because we keep telling them everything, the world revolves around them and whatever. Okay, if you made a mistake, this didn't work out the way that you wanted to do, we got to show these kids, you got to be accountable for the things that you do, male and female.
Absolutely. So let's see here. I'm just reading some of the comments, and the Mirror Likes Me says, I believe she's hiding in Jamaica. So you think she made it to Jamaica? Because I know that she doesn't have a passport. So it sounds like somebody talked to her because wasn't she supposed to turn herself in?
Yeah, no. Somebody talked to her, but remember when the initial thing was, the warrant was put out, remember she put a video out Wednesday. So she was still in the United States come Wednesday. So they revoked all her stuff before then. So I would say she's somewhere in the United States. But the thing is, she's making this, it's a big deal, but it's not a big deal. She's blowing this way out of proportion more than it has to. It's like you said yesterday, Demetra. Just go in, get your booking, whatever, and then get your court date and show up. It should be that cut and dry.
It's Harris County. You'll be out in 3 seconds. Like I said, they're going to say, did you get dropped off? Okay, tell them to wait in the parking lot. You won't be in here long because, sounds like in Harris County, they like to give people low bonds. Sounds like she got a $50,000 bond, if I'm not mistaken. She'll probably get out on the OR unless she's been in there before. I don't know. Sounds like she's got a trouble pass, but they ain't going to be trying to keep her. She's going to be right out, potentially up to whatever she's been up to before. Godspeed. How you doing? It says, one thing I do know is no way I will be voting blue, and any Black person voting blue should be ashamed. I'd rather sit it out than vote. I think that, I like it. I like that idea. Easy says DeSantis knows with the rhetoric and racist violence he induced, he would not win. So endorse Trump, and by 2028, he will clean his rhetoric up and sound more appealing to voters. Yeah, and sounds like a Tim Scott, he dropped out, and Vivek Ramaswamy, they were giving a good old endorsement after they talking all this crap about Trump. DeSantis is one of them. They had a meme back and forth earlier on. And the problem is with candidates, it sounds good because I think most of them thought that there's no way Trump is going to be on the ballot. Surely by now he'll be in jail, right? So we're going to talk all this stuff. We're going to be walking tall and talking tough. But then when they saw what happened in Iowa with the Republican caucus, it's like, wait a minute now. He ran circles around everybody, 51%.
And didn't even show up.
Yeah, 51% of the votes to that. I think Nikki Haley might have got 21%, and the rest of them are under that. So I think at that point, it's like, yeah, we might want to start talking nicely about Trump because he's going to need a VP because...
And somebody in his cabinet, exactly.
His last VP, Mike Pence, he defected, especially when he felt like Trump was sending them people in there after him on January 6th. So they probably want to be vice president.
Yeah, and then in politics, for you guys that know, and again, I love politics. That's my thing. It's considered a blowout if you could be about 10 points ahead of your opponent in an election. He was 20 to 30 points ahead. He blew them Terminator away. That's unheard of in politics to do that. And the man barely showed up remember, he was doing a lot of court cases. He was in court most of the time. These people, I think DeSantis went to every county in Iowa, didn't he? Yeah, so there it is. Mike.
Sorry about that. You said, he did what?
Yeah, DeSantis visited every county in Iowa. Trump didn't do that.
Yeah, they said he pretty much moved to Iowa. DeSantis did, trying to shore up the Republican vote. But, that just goes to show you that people really want something drastic done in regards to what's going on now. People want relief from the economy, from migrants, and a whole host of other things. And, whether you like Trump or not, some of the things that Trump was doing was actually helping people in America, like building the wall. I know some of it was made out of being racist, build the wall. But then a lot of it was like, well, why are we going to allocate resources to people who should not be over here? So,
But wait a minute, Demetria, and I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to actually say what some people are saying. If Trump gets back in, democracy is over as we know it. He wants to be a dictator or whatever, a king or however you want to call it. So shouldn't that reason alone be enough for Black people to save democracy and say no to Donald Trump?
No. Again, I like I said, what has Trump done to us that hasn't already been done by any Democrat or other Republican in the White House? What has he done? Nobody can really just say specifically what Trump has done while he was president that was so bad. And listen, I'm not an advocate for Trump, but I am an advocate for logic. What did Trump do to Black people that was so bad? What did he do worse than what Biden has done to Black people with his 50 years plus at this point of being in Washington? Name me one thing that he's done worse or bad to Black people while he was president.
And nothing I could come to, but I always say this, okay? And maybe you guys will agree with me. Most of you guys usually don't, because I don't know what I'm talking about most of the time, right? But I'm going to say this. And look, Demetria's all smiling. Anyway, here's what I say. If Donald Trump gets in there, Idi Amin gets in there, I don't care who gets in there. When you're at the bottom of the social and economic platform, there's nothing else that can be done to you. We're at the bottom, so what is there to fear? Just like Donald Trump said, what do you got to lose? We have nothing to lose. The Democrats don't give us absolutely nothing, and they're showing you right now how they feel about you by displacing you. They can't solve Black homelessness, anything when it comes to Black people. So when you're at the bottom, and that's another thing, when you guys are talking to your friends and stuff, say, hey, look, we're at the bottom. We're at the bottom here. So when you're at the bottom, if a dictator came in right now, how is that going to affect Black people? How is that going to affect us when we're at the bottom?
Yeah.
This makes sense to me.
And I'm just reading the comments. And hello to everybody that's come on here. The average logical thinker says, do you see the femicide rate in the U.S.? It was too easy to believe her story. Nevertheless, other real victims shouldn't be ignored because of one opportunistic idiot. I would say, I don't know if it was easy to believe, because I'm one of those people, I don't like to say, oh, she's lying or he's lying or they're telling the truth until we kind of see more, because a lot of times we do end up jumping the gun. But yeah, the femicide rate is high. I'd also like to say, because I hear a lot about the Black femicide rate, which means Black women are being, if you will, unalived by Black men. That's what that means. But again, we know that crime is about proximity. So you're going to harm people that you are mostly in close proximity to. Just like Black on Black crime is not really a thing as much as white on white crime is a thing. Case in point is, we always hear Black on Black crime, but you never hear white on white crime. Asian on Asian crime. They coined Black on Black crime as a thing. So I like to say the same thing is true for Black femicide. But I will say that it is a thing with, being unalived, if you will. But it's a thing also with, Black women doing it to Black men, white women doing it to white men, or what have you. At the end of the day, it's teaching coping skills. It's teaching on how to deal with rejection or whatever it is that you feel is unfavorable. It's a issue of learning about emotional intelligence. In this particular case with Rhoda, sounds like she said she told somebody no. They wanted her number or whatever it was. This is the story she's telling. And they took a brick to her head. Again, we know that story to not be true. And I don't want that to discount the stories that are true, because I know people, women, who have been verbally assaulted, if you will, and some physically assaulted due to telling a man no, and so we need to deal with those things.
Well, what about trans on violence? Never mind. I want to jump to this road. Linwood Bryant asks a question. Are you pro-Black or pro-Blacks for Trump? This is ridiculous.
Okay, now let me see. And hello, R, and who else? Elton, how are you doing? Okay, which comment was that? Linwood, how are you doing? Just kind of skip down a little bit. Z-Man, if I didn't already, how you doing? I'm
Yeah,
trying to
it
find that.
was Linwood Bryant.
How you doing? Okay, I'm getting down there. Just want to
Mhm.
acknowledge most people. MC 007, how you doing? Trent, Trenton Makes, how you doing? Okay, okay, here we go. Say, are you pro-black or pro-black for Trump? This is ridiculous. Linwood, I'm going to put the link up here because I'd rather you come up here so you can maybe explain a little bit. I'm going to put the link in the comment section. If you could please click on the link and show me your face, only me. I'll be able to see you if you don't want to show us your face before you come up here, because I'd love to have a really, cordial conversation with you so we can, have a dialogue if you don't mind, because it's going to be too time consuming for us to continue repeating ourselves on that particular comment. But if you will, the comments, the link is in the comment section. All right, let's see. October. Oh, well, you crazy. Talk about Ric Flair. Hair, God. uh, I saw somebody ask me about Dr. Cornel West. Is he still running?
Yeah.
Did he show up in New Hampshire?
He's still running, but you got to remember, Dr. Cornel West is running on an everybody platform. He's for everybody. And you guys, if we haven't learned anything, when it's for everybody, who benefits least? Black people. So I don't support candidates that are on this everybody train. And then again, Cornel West, he's an older gentleman as well, too. So that's an issue.
Yeah, and JJ, you say I hear just as many crimes by females as anyone else in this country, especially these days. So yeah, and that's why I kind of want to give it a context. It's about proximity. We harm, and just I'm saying in general, we those that we are closer to, right? It's just a fact. But again, there needs to be some coping skills taught to children very young, so that way when they're older, somebody hurts their feelings or rejects them or something like that, they'll say, "Oh, okay, well, I'm not going to take that personally. I asked her for a number. She told me no, and I'm gonna keep on pushing, right? Or whatever it is. Don't internalize that, because why are you internalizing something from a person you don't know? The other thing is, a person has the right to tell you no, whether it's a man or a woman. They have the right to tell you no. That's like going out there assuming, well, everybody I ask for their number, they're gonna tell me yes. They gotta tell me yes. And if they don't, well then, I'm gonna hurt their feelings because they told me no.
Yeah. And let me add to that too. I kind of see where that could be an issue, because if I was a woman, that I have nieces and stuff like that, because now with these cell phones, let's say this woman's really not interested in you, and I guess what men are doing, especially the younger men that are doing, is they're asking the woman for the number and making the woman stand there while he calls the number back to make sure it's the right number, which to me is an intimidation tactic as well. So we really got to do better in raising these feminized boys who act on emotion.
Yeah. Hey, more Sam, how are you doing this fine evening? Linwood, come on, click the link. Click the link. You say, aren't they all old as hell? He's younger than Trump and he's for reparations. Is Trump now? Who is this he's? Are you talking about Cornel West?
Cornel West. Mm-hmm.
By 3 minutes, he's younger. You know what I'm saying? He really probably like by 3-4 minutes. All right, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 years. They're in their 70s range, so I don't know if you can really consider that to be younger. But yeah, I guess Cornel is for reparations, but I mean, he confuses me. Like Donovan said, he's kind of an all lives matter, which I would say argue that most presidents should be an all lives matter type of politician. But from what we've seen, especially from a Black American standpoint, it hasn't been all lives matter. It's been everybody else's lives but Black people, which is how he came up with Black Lives Matter, the organization and the slogan. Or anybody heard anything about that organization, by the way? Steven, how you doing? He says hello to both of you on the panel. I always love your show, and we love you too. And Reed Machiavelli, how you doing? Says, why don't you call your rap tokens for Trump? I'm a Republican, but Trump is about screwing the community. Hell, his company put big C's on the apps in their apartment in New York. You could click the link too. How about you click the link too? I'm gonna put the link up here. Click the link, don't you? Because I don't know what kind of rhythm or rhyme you got to your rap, So maybe you could come up here and rap it to us so we can know how it goes. And then more than anything, tell us what you mean by that. But don't be up in here thumb thugging in the comment section. Click the link, come up here and say it with your chest, and we'll be very nice.
Yeah. And, and a lot of people bring up the fact that Trump did this and he did that, whatever. He did a lot of stuff within the confines of the law. Do you actually think if he went back to his business and wouldn't run for re-election and stuff like that, and by the way, both of these guys could only run one more time, but do you think that they would be prosecuting this man right now? Because they all do it. 2008, all the banks took advantage of the economy and crashed the economy, and not one of them faced charges. They all do it. They all have offshore accounts. How much is Nancy Pelosi worth? $300 million. You explain to me, since the 1970s when she came into office, how does a public servant be worth $300 million? And if you look at her investment portfolio, this woman has a 90% return rate on her portfolio. So you explain it to me. If Donald Trump would not be running for president right now, do you think he would be up for prosecution?
Yeah, and I looked because $300 million is wild, but it says that she's worth and from 2022, this was said about $115 million.
Well, I'm including her family with her husband and everything. So
it says he and his wife have about 114. And just kind of want to because people were like, why? Because when I heard it, I was like, wow, that's a lot of money. So
100 something is still a lot of money. I mean, as a public servant.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, most definitely. You'll never get an argument out of me with that. Let me see here. Let me skip down. Because and then Linwood, he said, see, that's the thing. Let's talk about Trump and Biden. Like the mainstream media, what's the difference here? Why? That's what we're saying. So why are Black people pledging allegiance to Biden if there's not that much difference? But I tell you, there's a lot of Democrats say, well, we got to vote for the lesser two evils. I'm like, if you logical and not emotional and you really do some math, then you have to come to the conclusion that Trump is the lesser of two evils. How, you ask? Well, Biden has spent 50 plus years in Washington legislating as a senator, because senators are the ones kind of with more power. They make laws, right? And then, of course, him being vice president and president, Trump was in office for 4 years. What laws did he make to hurt Black people? And when I asked that, a lot of people were like, wow, you know what they do? Again, they'll go back to the Central Park 5. That was horrible what he did, taking out that ad. But they never, ever want to talk about the prosecution that was Democrats and have donated to Democratic candidates. If I'm not mistaken, Hillary Clinton was donated to. But those are Democrats who went after the Central Park 5. Now the Central Park exonerated. But nobody ever talks about that. They always talk about Trump. Trump didn't have no political power. He didn't even have power as far as law enforcement in New York. But yet they put the blame on Trump, but not the Democratic prosecution that actually sent those boys up the river for something they didn't do. How are we making that mistake? And speaking of which, Fonnie Willis there in Georgia, Fulton County DA, who was appointed to go after Trump and the 18 other co-defendants who tried to steal or they got racketeering charges, rather, where they tried to fix the election results there in Georgia. Allegedly, and I'm saying allegedly because a lot is still coming out, she paid her boo thing, who was married, $650,000 to go after Trump. And they said this man ain't tried no real big cases before. He hasn't, but she hired him to do it. And all this stuff came out because the soon-to-be ex-wife of Nathan, oh gosh, his last name escapes me really quick, but Nathan, nevertheless, she put it in their divorce proceedings that, yeah, he's taking trips with Fonnie. They're going here, there. He's purchased the plane tickets for her. Here are the credit card receipts and all that other stuff. And so she's saying, well, she being Fonnie, they're going after me. They're harassing me because the wife wants Fonnie to show up to the deposition and testify to what's going on. What are you doing with my husband, right? You spending all this money. Also, the ex-wife is only being paid peanuts in the larger scheme of things as far as alimony and child support, while he's spending thousands of dollars gallivanting all over the globe with Fonnie Willis, who is going after Trump. And so actually it's a co-defendant in the Trump case. that's saying, nah, y'all need to look into her because this is misconduct. Like she may be with the the special prosecution that's going after us. So again, y'all hear Angela Rye, Ebony Williams, and all these other people talking about Trump, 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 Trump. Why aren't they giving a conversation to Fonnie, who may or may not be, but it looks like she may be allegedly doing something strange under the covers with the man she hired to go after Biden? In addition, I mean, not Biden, Trump. In addition, it says in the credit card statement that he, being Nathan, received money from the Biden administration for consultation. What he doing up in there?
And he also met with the Biden administration 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. So yeah. So what's he doing up in there? Biden them says, well, that's between them. We have nothing to do with, we're just gonna watch and see what's going on. But what is he doing in the White House, especially since he's new on the scene? He was just contracted by Fonnie. What's he doing in the White House a couple of times already? So again, why aren't the Democrats having a conversation about that?
I'll answer that question. Sweet Jesus, because when a black woman does something, it's racism. See how they're coming after me? I'm a black woman, and they shouldn't question my motives and stuff because, I have 2 white people as well and all this other stuff. It's racism. Did you guys see Martin Luther King Day? She didn't mention Martin Luther King one day at that church. She was talking about racism and how the system is against her. But when she was appointed as special counsel, it was all about, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, whatever. How many times have I told you guys on this show? When white supremacy is done with their tools, they break them. They break them. If you are against Donald Trump, this woman has just fumbled it. She has just fumbled her RICO case because she can't keep his thing out of her pants. And it's sad.
Yeah, and I should also say this too. Hello, Joseph. That's not to say that Trump and the other 18 are not guilty, but it sure doesn't help when the DA has hired who may be her boyfriend and paid him almost $1 million to go after Trump and them. It doesn't help when, you're screwing the help. That makes people wonder what's really going on. In addition to Young Thug, the rapper, he's also being prosecuted by her off of some rap lyrics. He's also facing RICO charges as well. So it sounds like she got a lot going on. But wow, to potentially throw the case or lose the case because you're horny.
And then isn't there another? And we're not dumping on black women or nothing. What we're saying is in our community, I don't know why is it that we can't see when we're being used as a tool of white supremacy. There's a mayor who was from California originally in New Orleans who's going through pretty much the same thing, having an affair with her security detail. And we all have heard about Tiffany Henyard up there near Chicago and what she's doing. This has given, black women leadership a black eye. It's bad enough we have all these black women in the Democratic Party in leadership positions that don't do nothing for their very own people. All these black women police chiefs, and yet the culture doesn't change. What is going on when our women, who are natural nurturers, that is what you guys do naturally, and it's almost like they have no empathy for their own people's children. And that's what bothers me when it comes to a woman leadership. You guys, we know what's wrong in the community. It's one thing that men have screwed it up because we're very aggressive in our nature and whatever. But when our own women are turning their backs or their heads and are willing to be used by the system, and there's a lot of men, of course, we started it all. We started all of that stuff. But the women are supposed to come in and do better, and and they're doing just as bad as the men. Where are we at as a people? God, it's just sad.
I sure about to say, because James Clyburn is about 1,000 years old, and you can hang it solely on him for saving Biden's campaign. He went there to South Carolina, and James Clyburn, who was a very black man, as I said, he was probably very close to the Emancipation Proclamation when it was being read. That's how old he is. He's very complicit in just giving black people fish bones. So, throw the black man up in there too. Joseph, how you doing? Says, do you think reparations should be paid to Foundation of Black Americans freemen in the form of cash payments, lineage based? Yeah, it is lineage based, but how do they detect lineage? DNA is part of that, in addition to family records, census records, and a whole host of other things. But DNA is definitely in there. It's because I've heard a lot of arguments say, "Oh no, it's not DNA." DNA is part of that. But welcome. And Artemis, how you doing? Says, why did they wait as long as they did to go after Trump? Well, they kind of were going after him slowly but surely. But when they heard that Joker was going to be running for president again, they was like, oh man, we got to count him out. But, trying to send him to jail, that's very dangerous. And if they send him to jail, I'd be surprised. But I'm surprised because if they send him to jail, then it's going to set a precedent for sending other presidents to jail for breaking the law and all that other stuff. So they got to be very careful with that.
Yeah, and they took their time in general because, again, he is part of that group. And they were like, is he going to go away or he's not? Because remember, he went against the grain. He was giving people money for no reason. Oh, the HB, why do you keep coming to me? Here's $10 billion. Don't come to me for another 7 years. Oh, people need a stimulus check. Give it to them. Oh, this is that, whatever, right? He was going against the agenda because the Republicans and the Democrats work together. They work together. And I'm going to give you a better example. The Republicans are after Hunter Biden right now for undue influence of his father, right? That's basically the crux of what they're coming at. Oh, he's benefiting from his father being in the White House, right? Does anybody remember Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of Donald Trump, that got a $2 billion payday from the Saudis? And yet the Democrats are doing nothing about that. Right. You got to put it together. They go after what they want. They're just making an example of Donald Trump because he went against their group that he's a part of. It's almost like being a black person and then you go against, you know what I mean? And you're with, the other person, and they're making an example of him. And that way, anybody else that tries to do what this guy does, this is going to be the outcome.
Absolutely. Dwayne says, if you're black, FBA, when you are in public office, you can't do nothing sexual with anyone but your husband or wife when you're black in office. Any fool knows that, or anybody shouldn't be doing that. But you're going at this is one of the most polarizing cases in history. I mean, it is. They gave it to her to take care of, and she couldn't even separate pleasure from business. That baffles me. It does, because it's
Did you see the video where she was saying that anybody that works for her and is engaging in subordinate affairs and stuff would not be tolerated? Did you see that video?
Except for her, okay? She's saying except for me. You don't question mama. In mama's house, mama do what she want to do. You do as I say and not as I do. But yeah, that just baffles me. Like, you risking it over a dude, one who was allegedly married. Yet for that, I just cannot understand it. Now, of course, the other accusation is that with him potentially being her boyfriend, she is benefiting from that relationship. Especially, she gave him almost $1 million, and then he's spending it on her. She's benefiting, and now that's, I don't sound like that's too legal. You know what I mean?
When will we learn we can't do what they do? When will we learn that?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's like, you could have gone down in history for taking down the orange man, taking down not even just President Trump, but Trump the billionaire, Trump the mogul, Trump the idea, Trump the American icon. I don't care what you say, if you like Trump or not. Trump is an American icon. You cannot talk about America ever and the mark without talking about the mark that Trump has had on it. She was in charge of making him heal, making him accountable for what he did, and she potentially let a little roll in the hay. Stop that! I'm flabbergasted. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, we had the border czar, Kamala Harris, and we see how that turned out. I mean, we can go on and on and on with our black boule that keep failing us. that keep failing. Wait, and I think Fannie Willis, she went to Howard, or did she go to?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think she went to a school in Georgia, some school in Georgia. I'm
Something
not
like
exactly.
that, yeah.
But again, the boule. Look at how they keep failing us, and we keep voting these people in like, oh, I went to this school, so I'm this super educated person that you need to follow me and do what I say. Hey, I thought having Ketanji Brown is going to change Black people's lives. What happened to that?
How? I mean, if you do the math mentally, right? How's she going to change Black people's lives when she's in a minority at the Supreme Court? She can write decisions and dissenting decisions and stuff like that, but she ain't gonna never, especially in regards to stuff that benefits Black people, she's never gonna be in have a say so because she's not a majority. The Republicans is running the Supreme Court now. They're mad because Trump got 3 Supreme Court decisions. Oh, he put Republican. That's what you're supposed to do when you are in office. And you have an opportunity to stack the courts, whatever courts they are, with judges that you like. That's what he's supposed to do. Obama did it. Most presidents do it if they have an opportunity to do it. But the other thing is strategic. Now, if, because come on, don't think for a second that Trump is not going to take every last case that he loses to the Supreme Court. And what you think they going to say? Yeah, you right. We're going to have to overturn this. You know what I'm saying? So why are we mad that he was being strategic in that?
And then when you talk about Obama, who had an opportunity to put somebody on the court, he let Mitch McConnell outmaneuver him and take his pick away from him. Talking about let the people decide. No, the law says I can decide. And then the Democrats hurt themselves by letting RGB stay up there to where she died in office. That's why we need term limits when it comes to these different offices in Congress, the president, and the Supreme Court. How can somebody who was born in the silent generation going to decide cybersecurity issues in regards to security? How many of you guys have heard that if you go to your local airport right now, they're going to demand ID for you to fly? But if you're an illegal migrant, you don't need ID. How does that work? You're going to let this person on the plane with me that you can't even ID, but I have to ID as a born American citizen. This isn't Republican policy. This is Democratic policy. Explain that.
Linwood, you say Demetra K, Don King, no difference, laugh out loud. The last time that I gave somebody a piece of my mind, I got in trouble with my sister. She's like, you're better than that. You shouldn't be doing those things. And my sister is like, you got nerve to tell me. But she's like, you're not that way. You shouldn't be talking to people like that. And so I hear her in my head. And so I'm not going to say what's on my mind. Okay. I'm going to leave your mama out of this. I really am. Okay. But I'm just letting you know that I'm going to be the bigger, smaller person. Let's see here. And B1 all my life. He says, Ketanji Brown, Lockheed Martin. She stood in the way of a class action lawsuit for Black people. Yes, she did do that. And Tia Truth, I hope I said that right. How you doing? It says Kamala Harris showed up at the barbecue restaurant here in Columbia in my neighborhood last week. Was she talking about her good old greens recipe? How she makes greens for Dougie, special greens with her sauce and seasoning.
You know what the funny thing? Remember that episode of Good Times where the elevator wasn't working and the building superintendent was in there, and he was trying to eat some soul food, and as soon as the elevator was fixed, he walked right out the damn door. Oh, too bad, gotta go.
Right.
That's what I think of Dougie. If she made greens for him, he'd be like, oh, gotta go.
Doug had no greens nowhere near his mouth. Okay, unless it was a green smoothie. Dante says, how can she change Black men and Black women's lives when she is unable to identify what a woman is? If she can't tell what a woman is, it'll be safe to say she can't identify what a man is either.
Yeah. And yet she got approved to be on the Supreme Court. Think about that. Yet she got approved to be put on the Supreme Court for life.
I mean, Trump is an American icon. Come up, click the link. Otherwise, I'm going to stop talking to you. Click the link and come up here and prove me to be a liar. You come up here and prove me to be a liar, then I'll say I'm sorry for the things that I've said. But again, as somebody said I should coin the term, stop thumb thugging in the comment section. Trump is an American icon. And if you don't want to come up here and debate with me, debate with your mama from now on. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Let's see here. MC007 says, DA Fanny, that's what you said, was not going to do anything with the Trump case because the case is falling apart. Yeah, 4 people, I guess they pled guilty so far. The rest of them, like, yeah, not so much, including that of Rudy Giuliani, who was just sued for a lot of money for lying on 2 sisters who were election workers, basically saying that they were caught, fudging the votes and stuff like that. And I'm glad that they won a lot of money from his behind. He's appealing, talking about he ain't got it, but yeah, they gonna get it eventually from him because Rudy Giuliani is not broke. Za Keem, I hope I said that right. How you doing? He says, I'm not for Republicans either, to be clear. Yeah, and I don't even think this is really an argument for being for Republicans, but it's like asking, what have the Democrats done for Black people for us to continue voting for them? Nobody's really answered that, like flat out giving it a conversation. Like, yeah, he's done A, B, C, and D specifically for Black people. We ain't talking about that all everybody included stuff. What can Black people say that Biden has done specifically? Nobody's been able to answer that. They'll tell you don't know what you're talking about, or you are Republican, or you for Trump. And it's like, don't try to throw these red herrings out there. Stick on topic. What has what has Biden or any Democrat done for Black people specifically?
But the thing is, to me, it's kind of stupid to use that argument. Oh, you're a Republican, you're that, and that doesn't stop from you arguing your point to change my mind. That's what I don't understand. Is that supposed to shame me or something? Just because I got off the plantation and you want to stay? It just doesn't make sense. If you got an argument, and this is why we have these conversations, and it's really sad that you've got these thumb thuggers that are running around doing what they're doing, and they can't defend their statement. Like I said, I'm not going to sit up here and say I'm 100% right, but I have yet for people to tell me, oh, this is wrong and that's wrong, and what I'm saying. We are a permanent underclass. I don't care what you have to say. Show me where we're not.
Yeah, and Enlighten, how you doing? Says, I said, Fani, the Black female attorney general of New York City and the Black district attorney of New York was bragging on going after Trump. Are they going to pay for it? They're going to pay for it in the end. Oh, absolutely. Then and for lack of better words, they were being used because they want to show Black people, look, we put Black people in control. Y'all saw there at the UN, they had a Black woman abstaining from the vote for a ceasefire there in the Middle East between Israel and Palestine. They put a Black woman. When was the last time you seen a Black woman from the United States make such a decision? That's all, optics, if you will.
And, and it's funny because every time I think of that lady that did that, I am embarrassed because I remember Colin Powell, how they ruined his reputation when he had us go to war based on a lie. Ruined that man. He never recovered. He never recovered from that.
Doesn't Trump have a casino or a hotel in Vegas?
Yeah, he has a hotel, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is there a casino in the hotels in Vegas?
Yes. You got to have a spot where you could launder your money from the Gambinos and all that other stuff. You got to have that.
And mobs are American pie. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna out-talk you. That you must be new to the show. I don't out-talk people. I'll let you come on here and say what you need to say or whatever. But October Oval, Linwood, if you're scared, just say that. You ain't got to be running around hiding in the comment section. Come up here. I'm gonna listen to you. I'm not unreasonable, but I feel like, as most people who are in the comment section walking tall and talking tough, when you come on here, it's a different ball game. So I get it. You think you're all that in there. You might be. Come up here and prove us wrong. Prove us wrong. Donovan and I won't say a word. We'll give you the floor. We'll let you ask all the questions and say all the things that you want to say. But nobody's going to pile on you. Trust me, it ain't that deep for us to be trying to pile on you. King Shaw, he says them baby boomers love them some Biden, but why? Yeah, but there's a lot of younger people who love them too. Miss Sweet Talk says Biden has done 50 years of mischief as a senator. He's done nothing for us. Yes, indeed. And JJ says the Democrats need to put a reparations policy in motion or forget about getting the votes. Yeah, and that's where it's gone to. Damon, he says, didn't see that UN crap. Yeah, she was kind of coy about it, like, well, But yeah, they use her to do it. It's like, come on now. Really? Jay Bubby says Fanny was giving up that Fanny at the risk of her career with someone else's husband, allegedly, right? She can't close her leg. Oh, to other women's husbands, how can she close a case? You know what? You better stop. Our son, how you doing? Says, how bad is that Trump is a black sheep? Have we forgotten it was his party who agreed to discuss Ice Cube's contract with Black America at the last elections? Many blacks came for Cube. Yeah, right on on Cube, right? Oh, you a sellout. You this, you that, you this. You must be a Republican. And so what if Ice Cube, he's not, I don't think, but what if he was a Republican? He doesn't have a right to do that. It's only black people in America that are not allowed to exercise our right to vote without being called an adverse name. You don't do it to white people. You don't do it to Asians. You don't do it to Hispanics. Only black people get shamed and called every name that you can think of for exercising our right to vote for whoever the hell we want to vote for.
I have a question for you. If black people come out and save democracy, what's in it for us? What do we get?
You like fish? How about twerking to the polls? Oh, I got something tangible for you. That sticker that says I voted. You get that, you get to put it on your hand, you get it in your jacket, and you get to take a picture and put it on social media.
Oh, so basically we get that. Other groups get what they need, LGBTQ, the Asians, and everybody benefits, even though it was us that saved democracy, even in this election. This is what we're going to get. Again, if this guy gets a second term, we don't get anything because he has no reason to do it. That's 4 more years of not getting our reparation. It's a delay tactic. They just keep pushing it off. No matter what happens, you just say, we feel you, we hear you, but you got to come and save democracy, and we'll get you next time. But everybody gets theirs on the first term. Sad.
Yeah, so, you could get that. Thank you, Miss Sweet Talk to Love and appreciate you for that. Your average logical thinker says that's what we thought. Thumb Thugger, a.k.a. Linwood. Yeah, and we'll be very nice. We're very nice people. There's really nothing to be afraid of. But you came in here calling me Don King and all that other stuff, I'm not bothered by that. But I would love for you to come up here and, back up what you're saying. That's all I'm asking. And Sharon, how you doing? Says, no, not all baby boomers love Sleepy Joe. Yes, and I totally agree with you. Not all baby boomers do. Black America says, not in his hotel. They won't give him a license. So there's no casino in the Trump hotel.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the hotel. Yeah, he doesn't have a casino license. That's right. But he has the hotel there, right on that strip.
I know, because whenever I go in there, I see it. So I don't know, but you're not going to argue that Trump is not an American icon. He is. Trump is one of the most. I'd say he's one of the biggest American icons, especially in modern day history. You're just not going to argue that he's not. He is. Everybody was all wrapped up in the Trump, the 80s and the 90s, and even before he ran for president, all wrapped up in the Trump. He all up in rap songs, movies, and you name it.
His properties are all over the world. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, his name brand, not his property. He just leases his name, but still, he has a profile all over the world.
Everybody's wrapped up into he's got golden toilets and his, his penthouse in New York and all that. So you get out of here with it. He ain't no American icon. It's just ridiculous at this point. Yeah, what did Ebony K. Williams said? You contrarians, you're just being contrary. Now we about to get silly. It's about time for me and Donovan to go because y'all know we come unglued after a while. Deuce D, how you doing? Says, and I saved democracy sticker. Yeah. You, my African Americans, helped save the soul of the country. And being forever 2009, how you doing? It says the Democrats rather lose the election than give black people $200,000 reparation check and give us a federal protection law. Sounds like, right? It sounds like. Let's see who else came on here. William, yeah, you said, I remember Vegas hotel debacle. They kicked Trump out, let Steve Wynn in, or should I say, kept him. Yeah, is Steve, didn't he die or something not too long ago? Don't give me the line. I remember his commercial of the hotel. He's sitting on top of the, and he appeared to be anyway sitting on top of his hotel. I was like, yikes. Oh, I'm just reading the comments. Easy says, D, you get loan forgiveness. I ain't got loan nothing. I haven't gotten a thing. So Dwayne says, laugh out loud, Demetria hit Donovan with the Clyburn fish syndrome. I'm just saying, that's what you'll get. And if you're lucky, you might get a bottle of hot sauce. Not to yourself, just a couple of dashes. Dash. Put on your fish so it's not so bland or whatever, you know.
So basically, you're telling me they're saying that democracy is on the line. Our basic way of living, how we govern ourselves is on the line, and yet they cannot give us tangibles. Say, okay, look, Black people, if you guys come out and vote, we are going to put in your bank account. We're not even talking about reparations. We're just buying our vote because our vote is for sale. That's legal. They can buy our vote. That's totally legal. You mean to tell me they can't say, we're giving you guys $5,000 to come out and vote for Democrat? We get nothing for saving democracy. For everybody else, we get nothing.
Yeah, I mean, but Black people ain't never had a say-so in this country about nothing. That's what democracy is, right? Everybody has a say-so. We've never had a say-so about anything. And, you know, they won't allow us to move next door to them, but they putting us in charge of saving the country, the soul of the country. How can we do that? Oh, we want to show up to vote for the Democrats, and they can help everybody else, and they can go on ignoring us again until they need us, you know, the next time. So it's like, knock it off. But again, they know a lot of us won't vote. Yeah, I mean, won't think about that. Well, how do we save democracy when we don't even benefit from democracy? Because if we did, we'd have a hate crime bill, we'd have reparations, we'd have police reform, we have, you know, our 40 acres and that mule. We'd have all that if we really had a say so. We had a say so in this country. Say, listen, officer, I was not speeding. Please don't put your knee on my neck. Please don't harm me. If we had a say so, right? None of those things would really be happening to us. So it's a farce, for lack of better words. It's just to make us feel like we really doing something, but we're not. You know, and it's sad. Okay, I'm gonna skip down. We about to get on out of here. Oh well, thank y'all. Y'all know when people say crazy stuff about me, it don't bother me. It's funny to me. Don King is like, I don't know. Maybe we're related. I don't know. I think it's funny. Deuce D says we really need our own party. We've seen what both won't do for us. Yeah, we really do. But unfortunately, not just Black people, most people in America think that they have to vote for the Democrats or the Republican because it is a two-party system, unfortunately.
Which is not democracy, which shows that is not democracy. It's the idea of democracy. Britain has more, a parliamentary system is more democratic than our system because they have multiple parties, and when the government is not working, they can dissolve it immediately and have another election. Sad, but that's how we believe.
Yep. So let's see. I'll just read some of these comments. I'm about to get out of here. I was really hoping, not really, that what's his name? I forgot already. What's his name? The one that was bumping his thumbs up in here. I don't see him up in here anymore. I don't know if it's a man or a woman at this point.
Oh, Linwood.
Yeah. Linwood. She, I don't know. They're not gonna come up here. So like usual, a bunch of hot air, all bark, no bite. Scared, we gonna say, what you scared of? I don't get it. Like, what are you scared of? You weren't scared in the comment section, but you scared to come up here and back it up. It's weird to me.
Well, Demetria, it's like a lot of Democrats. When you ask a simple question, what has the Democratic Party done for Black people in the last 60 years? Name me one thing. They can't seem to say what it is, but they want you to vote.
Oh, Lamont. Oh, Lamont. Where'd you go? Come out wherever you are. You won't, but you know, it's whatever. We give you
and that is the type of Democratic people you guys are going to run across. no matter what you say, and you put them on blast, and I don't mean like disrespectful. You just say, hey, okay, well, show me some facts. They're going to get frustrated and walk off.
Yeah. Again, all bark, no bite. Thank you, Michael. It says Trump will give money to black people after vote. You mean? Well, that remains to be seen. Star Child says, give it to us before the election. Right. Exactly. Don't wait. Give it to us now. This is like, what's his name? The senator, he's dead now. John McCain, he was running for president against Obama. He kept saying, when I become president, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to get Al-Qaeda and I'm going to bring out Osama bin Laden and all this other stuff. And it's like, well, why can't you do it now if you know where they are? Give them the blueprint, bruh. Tell them where they at. Tell them how you would do it now. What you got to wait till you get in the office for?
Wait, remember, because I was out there when all that stuff was popping. But it was funny. We would be sitting in our tents, and I was sitting there, and our intel was like, "Oh, we can't find Obama, or Osama. He's somewhere. Oh my God, he's hiding, whatever." And then that reporter went into the cave and found him, and did a whole interview with him. You're like, "Oh my God."
Right. Just, oh yeah, you got to get him in the office before he can go in there and go get a man who allegedly, they killed 3,000 Americans. I need to get in there before I tell you where he's at. Nah, brother, and wasn't you this big time veteran too? That was your prisoner of war and all that. You should be the first one giving up the goods of where he's at. Crazy. I don't even see this man up in here no more. Arson says, one last thing, as far as giving you guys reparations of some kind, because Arson's from Canada. Reparations of some kind of personalized incentive money has never been an issue. Didn't Biden just send hundreds of millions to Ukraine monthly? Yeah. Zelensky came up over here talking about, more soup, please. Can you please give me some more money? And then they said the man got some yachts somewhere.
Got some boats and yachts, because the money, there's no oversight on the money. And now think about this. When they're doing this, they're borrowing money from China to give to these people. Guess who has to pay for that? Your grandkids. That's why they have no future. They have no future. There is no fiscal responsibility by the baby boomer and silent boomer generation, because they're checking out of here. They don't even care. How are you going to deal with it? How are you going to pay for it? They're not worried about it, because you got to pay for it.
Don't tell me that. Talking about hurricane season will be here soon. And we just got with a freeze. That was harrowing in and of itself. I didn't know how we would survive. No, it was just fine. We had the electricity stayed on and everything. It was. I'm glad that it didn't. But the hurricane stuff, I really might be taking myself back to California until that's over. I don't want anything to do with that.
Yes, and real quick, your average logical thinker says now he's trying to prevent another government shutdown. But your average logical thinker and those guys that have been paying attention, he's using the border crisis to leverage the Republicans to give more money to Israel and Ukraine. Something that he created. He's saying, I'm not going to do anything. Let these people come over here, but I'm going to leverage doing something on the border if you give me money to give to Ukraine. And wait. Taiwan now needs money. He wants to send money over to Taiwan. And he's using the border crisis as leverage to do it. But you got almost 1 million veterans that are homeless in the United States, and you can't solve basic American issues right here.
And as easy, just ask D, what's the difference in stealing PPP loan money and Ukraine slush fund? Right. I like I said, I never advocate for people who got their PPP loans nefariously, if you will. I don't think it's right, but I surely don't think it's right that they got to go to jail while people who aren't American citizens are getting money, and that's coming off the backs of the taxpayers. That's not right. Like I said, the student loans, those are due. It said not too long ago, 9 million Americans defaulted on the student loans. They're like, I ain't got it. Can't get blood from a turnip or whatever reason they didn't pay it. People with PPP loan fraud, they're doing jail time, and they're continuously going after them. And in fact, Biden said when he got in office, I'm gonna make sure everybody's held responsible. Of course, that PPP loan program came under the Trump administration, and everybody and their mama, millionaires, billionaires, they was getting the loans, and it was all good. And in fact, when Trump was in office, they was like, well, we don't need to disclose where the money came from. But then, of course, shortly that changed. So, you could look up people's names and all kind of stuff. But yeah, Biden is an old miser, and he wants to put the American people on the hook for paying for something that they got from America, but yet he's giving Zelensky all that money. He got a couple of yachts, and they said there's a bunch of money that's unaccounted for. So you gonna, come down with the full extent of the law on him, or just people who are helping you give him that money? It's insanity at this point. So let's see here. Okay, we about to get out of here. Thunder says, I think they're letting them here and giving them IDs so they can replace black vote because they know that we aren't voting for them anymore. Yep, the gig is up. King Shaw, you say Biden been doing that on purpose to tease us black FBA folks. Michael, he says, Donovan, you need to enjoy your life because your health comes first. I appreciate your military service. Your grandkids need you. Damon says,
I ain't got no damn grandkids. Forget that.
Damon, you say, can you say America, the cluster F on steroids?
Yeah, and then grandkids, they need me. No, they need their parents. I didn't make them, so no, I'm one of those people. Dimitri will tell you, I am not here to do anything for my grandkids. I have no allegiance to my grandkids other than what I want to do, period.
Right.
And that's another problem that we have in our community. We take on responsibilities our kids should be taking on, and then it just our health just goes down the tubes because these kids run right over us.
I'm not a grandparent either, but if I do become one, I'm gonna be a grand D. They're gonna call me Grand D. For recreation, not obligation. I didn't lay down with you and have those babies, you and your husband, because that's who you need to be with. Is your husband gonna do the heavy lifting? Grand D is gonna take them to the museums, the park, the beaches, or whatever they come over. But I'm not gonna be raising no grandchildren. I'm gonna be like my mom. I'm too sexy to be called. Don't call me Granny. Granny my ass. Okay. Do I look like a granny to you? So anyway, and thank you, Norris. We love and appreciate you for that. We are going to get out of here. Thunder, you say Eliza, Stephanie might be vice president. I do not know who that is. I guess I need to do my homework. Your average logical thinker says, yeah, I know a woman who was crying because her daughter is having baby number 4 that she knows she's going to have to raise. I said to myself, couldn't be me. The F, why she got to raise them? I don't get that one. And Arson, he says, money to Taiwan too. What does that country have to do with their domestic issues? Well, isn't Taiwan rising up against China or something?
No, China. Okay, Taiwan is still technically a part of China, and they're just been separated. And what it is China is making aggressive moves, to incorporate Taiwan back into China, and and we support Taiwan no matter what. So we give them weapons and stuff to do that, and we just gave them a bunch of money now so that they can upgrade their defenses. Right now, I believe the 7th fleet or the 4th fleet is in the Taiwan Strait to keep China honest in that situation. But right now, we're giving money to Ukraine, Israel, and now Taiwan has requested assistance in regards to possible aggression.
Yes, indeed. More Sammy says, I'll be the glam mom. I see a lot of people calling themselves glam mom. Like, oh, that's interesting. I just like the Grand D because I don't like grandma, granny, grams. It just, I don't know. Of course, I don't have any grandchildren just yet. Most of my friends, though, they do have grandchildren. My oldest brother, Walter, he has be 6 grandchildren. And as they always say, you like the kids, but you love the grandchildren. He loves his grandchildren dearly. So let's see, Dave, you say, enjoy y'all. And we enjoyed you being here. Herschel, how you doing? Peace out to you as well. And JJ, he says, I've turned down females who got pregnant and had kids. I'm not taking care of someone else's kids. I'm 44 years old with no kids and never been married. Yeah.
Wait a minute. There are women out there that say real men take care of other men's children. This is their talking points. These young women are saying, well, you got to take care of my kids because that's a real man. Ain't no man want to take care of another man's responsibilities. That's just, there are some. Back in the day, that used to be an honorable thing. But notice there's a lot of women that have sons, and they're like, oh, hell no, not my baby ain't going to take care of no other woman. No, sorry, can't do it. But there are women that will actually call you less of a man because you don't want to take care of their children.
You know what's so funny? And we were going to get out of here, but I'll dedicate another 5 minutes because, I'm tired. I worked all day and I still got to work when I get off of here. I saw somebody post something and I thought it was very interesting. Of course, I already know this, but they used Jeff Bezos and Lauren, his fiance, as an example. And it said something like, the internet has made people and men, feel a certain way that is just not true in real life. So, of course, if you guys don't know who Jeff Bezos is, he's the wealthiest man in one of them, right? I think it's Elon and then him. They go back and forth. The wealthiest man in the world, one of them, he owns Amazon. Of course, you cannot look outside and what I see in Amazon. He's got a lot of money. But Lauren Sanchez, okay, I think she's in her 50s or close to it. She's got children. She had an ex-husband. She's not wealthy. She was a news anchor in Los Angeles, And Jeff Bezos could have had any 21-year-old, any 25-year-old with no children and all that. But lo and behold, this billionaire, 100 times over at least, got she's a single mama now, single mama that's over 35. And he's going to marry this woman. So I thought that story was interesting because you do hear a lot of people, don't know, man, no high value man, want no woman with kids. If Jeff Bezos is not the definition of high value, well, I don't know who is. There's a lot of high valued men, per se, that do exactly what you guys say you won't do. Now, obviously, that is a personal decision. If you don't want to take care of another woman's children, that's fine. That's your right to do that. But please do not paint that as though it's a thing. Now, I'm 52 years old, and I am one that benefited from a stepfather who took care of, along with my dad and my mother. He took care of 3 children that was not his. So when I hear this malarkey,
that was back in the day. We're talking today. We're not talking about our parents' generation.
Was Jeff Bezos in the prehistoric times?
No, but he's only a few years older than us.
Did he marry? Is he getting ready to marry a single baby mama?
Yes, but he has the resources to do so. And then wait. And then I heard she has that gyro tongue action, so he couldn't let it go.
Baby. Yeah, I'd had a gyro action too if a man was a damn near trillionaire talking about, come on, baby, come on my $400 million yacht in your bikini. You ain't got to do nothing but exercise. And yes, honey, yes, I do it too. So the point that I'm making is, y'all, some of y'all ain't talking about you, I'm talking about y'all. Got these blanket descriptions of what a man ain't gonna do and what a man ain't gonna.
In general, men do not want to take care of their men's children.
That is not true. Because
in general.
But okay, now we're going to argue definitions, but I'm going to tell you, I know a plethora of men who have married a single mama with children. And
remember, I was married to a woman with children, remember?
So then why are you even in this conversation?
No, because what I'm telling you is, in general, men do not want to take care of other women's children. Preferably, they want their own children with that woman. That's all.
And you don't think that women that marry single baby daddies don't want to take care of another woman's children as well? Women who don't have children as well, they get with a man and they are stepmom or whatever the case is.
Yeah, but a lot of y'all now have 3 and 4 baby daddies. So
not a lot of us don't, because I got one. Okay, I got one, and I know a lot of other women that just got one. I know these women on the internet that you see on these shows, and they use it for clicks and likes to embarrass them and all this other stuff. And these men talk about what I ain't gonna do, I ain't gonna do. And they living in their mama basement talking about I will not marry a woman and take care of her children. I almost said something I wasn't supposed to say. Sucker, you can't even take care of yourself because your mama talking about turn the water off. You're using all the hot water.
Yeah, have Jeff and her gotten married yet?
They getting ready to?
Yeah, because after that first wife took almost half his shit.
But wait a minute now, Mackenzie. Now let's talk about Mackenzie. Mackenzie, Jeff's first wife, she helped build all that stuff. And Jeff said, now this is the difference. This is what makes a man a man. Jeff know he didn't treat Mackenzie right. He's like, that woman can have whatever she wants. Making Mackenzie Bezos the wealthiest woman in the world.
After losing half his wealth.
Half. And guess what? That man made that back. He made it back.
Yeah, the pandemic came at the right time.
Right, he made it back, but he didn't fight that woman. He said, I did it wrong. I cheated on her, whatever the case is. She can have whatever she wants. She is the mother of my children. I'm not going to fight her, right? But as I said,
and that's a good man.
But as I said, that man living in his mama basement and she telling him to turn the lights off. It's past 10 o'clock. You burning up all my electricity. He talking about what he ain't gonna take care of.
Right, but what I'm telling you, D, in general, men, if I ask the men in the chat, they will all agree with me because that's how men think. Again, we don't think the same. Women think a certain way, men think another way. General, men do not want to take care of another man's responsibility. Why do you think women are so hard fighting against mandatory paternity testing? Why do you think that they're doing that? A third of all men who have taken the test is not the father. But yet the system says you got to take care of a child that might not be yours, and women think that that's okay. It's not.
That ain't got nothing to do with a man that's marrying a woman who's a single mama. Those obviously those kids ain't theirs. And Samuel, you say single mothers should be with single fathers. They should be with single mothers and fathers if that's what they want to do. But that does not disinclude people who don't have children who want to be with people with children. It's a personal decision. But because of this thing on the internet, especially this gender divide and all these rules have been written now about what people should be doing dating, that people could do what they want to do. But again, I would tell you right now, I know a whole lot of single mamas and baby daddies that got with people who didn't have children, you know, vice versa and all of that. So when I see this stuff on the internet, it's funny. But yeah, I saw that about Jeff Bezos. I said, that is the highest value man per what the standard of the internet is saying. That's the highest value man in the world. And he did everything the polar opposite of this playbook that has been put out on the internet. Everything the opposite.
Well, let me add this. Because remember, I was married to a woman that had two children by two different daddies. And that was a nightmare. You know my story on that. But I was much older and had the resources to deal with it. If I was younger, I don't go out and seek a woman that has children. I just don't do it. And most men don't do that.
Yeah, and Arsenio, he cannot be, he can't be used as a standard. You know why? Because this thing on the internet, you know, has said that high valued men that are making a lot of money. And I think Jeff is making a lot of money. He's making a lot of money. You would think he of all people can build him a woman. Dr. Miami, I want this type of woman, that type of woman, that type of woman. But he went and got a single baby mama over 35 who ain't making nowhere near as much money as he is. And he's going to marry this woman. So again, I think Jeff Bezos is the perfect example of that. But I know when we think in terms of these men, now y'all, I'm talking about them over there. These men that talking about, I ain't going to marry no baby mama with children. As I said, he got a bus pass. Okay. He got a bus pass talking about what he ain't going to do. Bruh, why don't you get your money up first and you can get you a car first? You know what I'm saying? Before you talk about what you ain't going to do. Now, I know that probably punched some people below the belt. I didn't mean to, but I'm just saying, you know, what works for you, but you don't have the right to tell everybody else what they should and should not be doing because it's a shaming tactic. Basically saying to a man, if you want to marry a woman with children and you don't have none, why are you doing that? You could be with any woman that ain't got no kids.
So let me ask you this. If I was a man that had 6 children by 3 different baby mamas, I'm somebody that a woman would want to get with.
Say that again, bro.
I'm a man that has 6 different children with 3 different baby mamas. I'm a prime catch for a woman to get with.
If that woman sees you as a prime catch, it's not for me to tell her that she doesn't see you as that.
Mm-hmm. Would you date a man that has that dynamic?
I know I would not. That's my personal. That I am not. I can only speak for me. I can only speak for me. But I know there's a lot of men who got more than one baby mama and they ain't off the market. Why those men with several baby mamas, more than one anyway? Why they not just dating women who got children? Why they after women who don't have children?
Are you reading the chat? Because the ladies are like, I have a lot of thinkers. I dated a guy with 3 kids, 2 baby mamas. Never again.
I mean, but I'm just saying, I can't speak for them. I can just speak for me. I would not be dating no man who got 6 kids and 3 baby mamas and all that because he got a lot going on. And I want him to be able to devote all of his time to them. He ain't got time to deal with me. You know what I mean? Especially if the children are underage. He gonna need all the spare daddy time he could get. Right. He don't need no woman calling him daddy.
Right. Enlightenment 55457 says, I do not want to date a single father with children because my children were grown and I was in a different stage of my life. I told him he needed a lady in the same stage of life he was in. Exactly.
Yeah, and no shade to single fathers. They're very important in the larger scheme of things too. I think they deserve love. And if a woman sees him suitable, even though he has children, then that's her choice. But we can't go around making these definitions for everybody. What works for somebody may not work for somebody else. But, I know there's a lot of hypocrisy in these streets. First of all, like I said,
we need mandatory DNA testing, ladies. Are you with me?
I think that I don't have a problem with that. But again, if you worried about somebody putting a baby on you that ain't yours, then maybe keep your little Peter in your pants until you get with a woman that you ain't got to be worried about all that with.
Again, we test the kids for diseases when they first come out. It's only a matter, why can't we just make that part of the process?
I don't have a problem with that. I think they should do mandatory DNA tests when the baby come out, whether you married or you not, or whatever, so we can take all the BS off the table, all the questions about paternity. Common Man, let's see here. Common Man says, if I had met Demetra 30 years ago, she would have dodged me. That you mean? Because I was all about work. She would have said I wasn't paying attention to her, but I would have been building a future. No, I didn't say work. I said a man that got a whole bunch of children and a whole bunch of baby mamas, he ain't got time to date. You don't need no more coochie. You had enough. Okay? You need to be preoccupying yourself with taking care of those children. That's all I'm saying. Now, listen, I say this all the time. I've seen working men in my family. My dad was an entrepreneur, owned his own business. I saw my dad when he left to work and when he came back to work, from work. I knew as a small child, my dad was off working, making money, and all of that. And my mom was at home. I knew that, right? Even my stepfather went to work and he came back. That's what I knew men to do. I am well aware that a man, if he's busy, he is probably out there building a legacy. What woman worth her weight want a man unless he's, working from the house or something like that? One woman worth her weight want a man rolling around the house all day talking about I ain't got nothing to do. I told my daughter the other day, even to this day, as 52 years old, finna be 53 in April. Anytime my daddy calls me and he says, what you got going on? I know better, even at the age of 52, to say nothing. What you mean you ain't got nothing going on? You should never say nothing. So you should always have something to do. So I'm just programmed to say, I'm about to read this book. Or I'm about to make a video, daddy, or I'm about to work out. I always have an answer for him because that's how I've been programmed. So I know a man that, out there working hard and all that. I appreciate that. But like I said, if you got a bunch of children, that's your job. Your job is daddy.
I can also be daddy in the bedroom. Come on now.
You ain't got time because I don't want you to, as a woman, I wouldn't want you to be confused. Daddy. And a woman saying, daddy. I wouldn't want you to be confused. I want you to know that daddy is coming from all those children that you got, not from, a woman. Arson says, Demetra, but the statement is for the average man. When it comes to the rich and wealthy, all rules are out the window. For the record, I don't have a dog in a fight. I definitely see your point. Well, I've heard plenty of times, especially from that of Kevin Samuels, RIP, talk about the difference between the average man and a high value man. And, I heard him talk a lot about what high value men will and will not do. That's all I'm saying. So, I think that Jeff Bezos is the perfect example of what he will and will not do. And he's doing it. Thunder says, get an older woman who is passionate about child-bearing age and travel the world. He says, passionate about child-bearing age, so she's able to bear children or she's not. Michael said, that sounds very funny. You crazy. JJ says, I agree. Leave her to a single man who doesn't have any kids. Okay, so you're talking to Samuel. Linwood. How you doing? Says y'all don't want to hear or talk the leftists, but y'all come on. I'm done talking to you. Thunder says, and if you're fortunate, you'll save money on dental insurance. Y'all going way in left field now. Don't have to be running wild. Be here running wild. He says democracy is a mob rule. Majority rule. Majority of these people are against us. They're against reparation. They're against the black hate crime bill. They can stick their democracy. Cecilia, how you doing? Says a bunch of children and not married to not one woman. Child.
No, sister. You ain't got to worry about getting married. You know, keep your folks up. You get your education, girl. Get your business built up. Do all that stuff first. You got plenty of time to get married. And then by the time you're in your 40s and whatever, you want to sit there and be mad at the world because nobody's checking for you like that.
I'm gonna put this. Y'all got your passports? You know what? Good. Get your passports. I'm gonna tell y'all what I tell Donovan. Tell Donovan this. Y'all better be happy. I ain't in those other countries. I swear for God and all 12 disciples, I have me a stable of women waiting to pick y'all suckers' pockets. The minute y'all get off the plane, they'll give you the 5-star CEO treatment, even though I know a lot of them dudes getting off the plane, going to work for Amazon. When they get back to the States, I have them give you the CEO treatment. Oh, Poppy, hey, Poppy. Oh, how you doing, Poppy? Oh, yeah. And look, that Speedo, it's so nice on you. All that kind of stuff. You get all your money, boy, I tell you. Y'all better be happy. But get your passports.
But she could get all my money at half, at a third of the price of what it would, what the women here would get it.
Hey, tricking is tricking. No matter where the tricking takes place, it's tricking.
It's not. It's called traditional finding love.
You would trick here. You would trick there. You would trick everywhere if you're paying for it. I'm just saying.
Demetra, men pay for it one way or the other. Okay, when we go on a date, who's paying for it 9 times out of 10? A man. If we go to the movies, who's paying for it? A man. Oh, a man's got to be traditional. He got to be doing all that. So we're paying for it one way or the other. So it doesn't matter.
So why are you going overseas if you're going to pay for it?
Because it's cheaper over there.
No, it ain't. Because you got a plane ticket, you pay for a hotel, and all that stuff to get over there to get to tricking.
Wait a minute. I can do the same thing here, take you on that same plane trip and still pay high prices.
Black America says your dad is the reason why you're single. That's a lie. And you know what? You could be telling the truth because I'm saying sucker free in these streets. But tell me the reason why you got 16 babies out there. Who was responsible for that? Your mama or your daddy? I'm asking, right? We asking questions back and forth. Who's responsible for all the babies you got laying around the United States of America with probably 15 women? Who's responsible for that, if you don't mind me asking? See, that's the thing too. A lot of men men that ain't up to no good. Y'all don't want to be with a woman who got a daddy in their life because the daddy putting her up on game and all of that other stuff. But again, you tell me who's responsible for all the babies you got out there and ain't married their mama? I'll wait for you to answer. He said he got 16 babies. It's hard to tell with Black America because he be trolling, but Common Man says, I have one daughter and I wasn't about making babies all over the place, but that's just me. Yeah, that we shouldn't be doing that, especially if we ain't married, right? Just popping them out like rabbits. That's not how you supposed to do it. Michael says, Demetria, you're funny how to sweet talk and talk like a baseball player. You know what's so funny? I watched Yogi Berra, the documentary on Netflix. It was such a great documentary. Oh my gosh, because I like documentaries like that. Yeah, you got to stay sucker free. Brina says, get your passport and make sure you have enough money to get your body shipped back home. Right. Go on over there. Because we're hearing a lot of these stories about y'all going up over there. Over there tricking with Maria. And then, it's like, wow, ma'am.
True story, you guys. I was leaving the DR last time I was there. I sent Demetra a message that I spent all my money and I'm stuck. She never responded.
Hey, I don't want to get in the way of your passporting, brother. That's full of the whole experience. Sometimes you got to get your, bumps and bruises so you learn the lesson. So carry on, soldier. Carry on.
I will be going back in 2 weeks. I'm getting ready. It's gearing up. Super Bowl.
Right. Don't call me either. Talk about they got
cash app.
Right. JJ says, I never had STDs. I don't want some lot lizarder for a wife. You know what? Count yourself blessed that you've never had that. But you think you're going over there with a passport with a fresh woman?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
You know what, Donovan?
Yes, because wait, isn't there a report in Houston that the STD rate in Houston and STI rate in Houston is above the charts down there?
Yeah, but you don't think they itching and scratching in the DR either?
No, it's natural. You know, they put the food in their diet and they work out because they don't have cars. They're not doing that because they're native people to their thing. That's why during the pandemic, they were hardly affected. Facts.
We talk about COVID.
Yeah, during the pandemic, they were barely affected
by the COVID.
By the COVID, exactly.
Are you equating COVID to the heebie-jeebies?
Well, even to the heebie-jeebies, it's very low down there. Native people, you know, they're traditional. They stick with one guy and whatever. You're talking about those girls you saw working in that area.
I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet, Donovan. I'm gonna be quiet because wow. And that's all I'm gonna say.
Fellas, why should we be happy?
I mean, I'm just saying, y'all go get your passports. Do what you gotta do. Do you, boo-boo. We really are rooting for y'all. You know, go out down there, find a woman of your dreams, and you're supposed to stay over there now. Don't come back.
That's right. We're supposed to stay. Stay over there. Don't bring her to the United States. Don't bring her.
Nah. Not only are you not supposed to bring her, you ain't supposed to come back.
No, we have to come back for citizenship and just check in and stuff like that for families, funerals, things like that.
Ain't nothing over here for you. Stay over there. That's the rules of the game.
No, my mama needs me. My mama getting sick. I gotta come and visit. Make sure she's okay.
Stay your rusty behind over there with Maria and them. Since they treat you so much better, you ain't nothing left over here for you. Take your cats, take your dog, take everything over there with you. Let's see here. Herschel, you said, see, Demetri, you're the reason Alfalfa started the He-Man Woman Hater Club.
Oh, that was the perfect club when I was growing up.
Yeah, you know. And sometimes, you know, we got to keep y'all honest. We got to keep y'all humble. You know what I'm saying? Keep you humble. But again, if you want to get your passport, get your passport. And JJ said you've been to other countries with no problem. Well, are you in America still? Why are you here? Why aren't you there? Donovan, why are you here?
Why am I here?
Yes.
You know why I'm here. I got a dog and some cats to deal with. Once they're gone, I'm gone.
You got 14 cats, Negro.
Right. And like I said, once my dog goes, that's it. I'm out of here.
Basically, Donovan is not leaving anywhere. Cats have 9 lives and he's got 1,000 cats. So he's never leaving. He's playing games. He gonna be over there trampolining and then come back to the States and talk about, oh, I couldn't leave my animals. Black America says, who says I didn't get married? Well, if you did, it wasn't for too long unless you were cheating on your wife, because how the hell you end up with 16 children? I know damn well one woman didn't give you 16 children. So stop the cap. Stop it. You said, JJ, I don't go raw. I'm not stupid. That's between you and them or her. Issa says she is fresh as she gets the next appointment. Right. Come on now. They acted like some woman that's she just walked out of Bible study.
You know what? Did you know what the sad thing is? And this is how delusional Americans are. We're sitting here talking about other countries, and we got people in this country who are morally bankrupt that have OnlyFans and doing sex work and have the nerve to talk about these other countries when it is proven that the women here are just as bad as anywhere else in the world.
I've been telling you that. The women are all the same all over the world, but somehow y'all think y'all done struck a gold mine somewhere in arson.
Well, the difference is the gold mine is just like it's hard for women in this country to go and find a man in another country because the patriarchy is strong outside of the United States. That's a fact.
I'm glad that you said that. Y'all heard him say the patriarchy is strong. And that goes along with arson says, nah, overseas is different. Money aside, women are actually raised to be certain old-fashioned way that isn't taught in America anymore. Donovan and arson. What is old-fashioned about women tricking on the stroll? I know prostitution is the oldest, profession in the world. That's what they say, right?
No.
But wait. What is old-fashioned about that? And what man raised his daughter to be a trampoline?
Well, look around you here in the United States. What is going on here?
Over there. Leave us American women out.
Over there, well, usually, and I'm just going to say this, and this is not gospel. It's not based on facts, but I have traveled and I've lived overseas. When you are in an economic situation where you are in a poor state, and it's the oldest profession in the world, that's what you're going to do. Like if you go to a lot of these Asian countries, like in Thailand, that is a known source of what they do. The girls come from the provinces. They come and make money with the Western people, usually European. It's more European than it is American. Because in America, by the way, fellas, I want you guys to write this down, go Google it. If you are caught up over there in some kind of sex crime or something like that, there is a law here in the United States that when you get off the plane, when you bring your butt back here, they're going to try you here for any crimes you did over there in regards to sexual, whatever, deviancy, whatever you're doing over there. So be aware of that. So there, it's mostly survival. We're in a so-called modern society where women think they're equal to men and can do all the different same things with men and all this other stuff, which it's causing a problem between men and women and the family structure. Now, over there, there's still some hope, but unfortunately, American Western things is getting into those countries too, and they're starting to have problems over there in regards to their family structure, the nuclear family structure over there. But the women are traditional; they're raised to be more traditional, and they're more how would you say it? It's like in the Latin countries, this thing called machismo. That's still very, very respected. The men are still very, very respected in those countries.
You said all of that.
I did.
You said all of that and never really answered how is it that whether the dudes are tricking or telling their daughters to be out there tricking. And the other thing is, because I hear this a lot, now this is just me, thinking logically about it. Those women are so traditional. How is it that they find themselves on a stroll? Why aren't those men wifing them up over there?
They are. A lot of those women, like when I go to the DR and I educate these young, stupid, dumb Negroes that come from the United States, don't be falling in love with Maria. She has her husband or her boyfriend is there. She's up here working or whatever you're doing. And anybody in the military that's been overseas,
what y'all doing over there? You ain't looking for a wife then?
Well, in the areas that you know of, you would be stupid to look for a wife in those areas. But not every area is, again, when we stereotype a whole country, that isn't how it is. You can find wives in these other countries. It just depends on where you're going. Good example, if I was in Thailand, I would not be finding a wife in Pattaya. I wouldn't go to Pattaya. I can find a wife in Bangkok. I can find a wife in Angel City, well, not Angel City, but Manila in the Philippines, and so on and so forth. There's certain areas that you can find a wife in the country rather than the tourist areas, the big tourist areas.
Why y'all not going to find a wife?
Because you got to look at the laws. In the Philippines, there's no such thing as divorce if you marry the woman. Now, depending on what country, you got to know the laws. You just got to know the laws. And in some countries, like in a lot of Asian countries, you marry the wife, you marry the family. So you got to be careful with what you're doing.
Sounds like y'all should just stay over here and get married. I mean, you got the joke.
Hell no.
I mean, I'm just saying, I let you talk. I asked you to, wow, that's a lot to go on over there. I mean, wow, amazing. I don't think
they're waiting on the robot to be finished that they're making in Japan. But once the robot is finished, we won't have any need for going overseas or any women in general. We'll put their personality in there, program it, and it'll be everything that we want it to be.
Can I be honest with y'all? Some of y'all deserve a robot. You don't deserve no real woman. Y'all deserve a robot, okay? And as I always say, I'll rule the day that I read in the newspaper where one of y'all suckers got clinched up on. They just squeeze up on you. and then we don't hear from you no more. And then, your mama go to your house. I haven't heard from him in a long time. And your rotten corpses, under or behind the robot, and she done locked up on you. That's when you're going to say, well, American women aren't so bad after all. Because you talk about going overseas and you got to jump through hoops of fire. You got to go to tribal initiations and, all this and that, the other, with the woman and the family and the daddy and you might as well just stay over here.
No, remember that movie, Smith Sweet talks at it, Weird Science. That's a perfect example of a woman, the perfect woman. You can just build there and be done with
it. Help yourself. Thunder says, has anyone else seen or heard of the East Indian women are looking for brothers now? But you know what the problem is? Y'all ain't looking for them. Y'all all up in Sasua. Y'all in Sasua or Brazil or wherever, Pattaya. Y'all looking for those women. Y'all ain't looking for those sisters, those East Indian women. Y'all looking for, Maria and them. Right. Morris says, Donovan, please stop acting like you're looking for a woman overseas because it doesn't take that long. Right.
It does take that long because you got to know the laws and how the thing fits in and how this is going to work out. It does take that long. You just don't just marry somebody like some damn fool. The laws, depending on where you're at, you got to understand the laws. You'd be dumb not to do it. Do you guys know in Japan, you can't own any land? Everything has to be in the wife's name. In the Philippines, the same thing. So if most of my resources is going to support her, I mean, you hear stories all the time of these English German guys just getting raked over the coals, and losing all their money because they didn't understand the laws first. It does take some time because you're dealing with a different culture, a different people that have different rules. So you got to understand it. So when I see these young guys that go down to these places with not enough money, number one, and they're just getting stupid. And Dimitri, you were there. Guys are over there spending money, American pride. It's just ridiculous. You got to know what you're doing. You got to know what you're doing.
I know. I was over there. That's why I said, Donovan, stop lying to these good people. Okay. I was there. I seen it with my own eyes. And I'm like, surely this Negro is lying to these people. Okay. I took a 13-hour bus ride to Sasua. Okay. I didn't want to take no 13-hour bus ride to Sasua. And we get there.
It was raining that day, so of course, it's going to take a little longer, but go ahead.
My daughter and I get there along with Donovan because he's been before, and we are from what I saw, the only American women in Sasua. I'm like, that's odd.
Not true, but go ahead.
That I saw. I could be wrong.
Right.
Wasn't many of us. If there were there, I saw a lot of
a lot of military women do go there.
Mm-hmm. Guess who else I saw over there? Saw a lot of men that looked like Donovan. A lot of brothers was over there. And they had Maria and all them on their laps and all that other stuff.
And we were fellowshipping and praying and high-fiving each other and hugging each other.
I think I know that man's wife. Let me send her a direct message. Because I know
Dimitri, they have a new rule at the sports bar down there. No photography in that building anymore. So you might have to come with those spy glasses, whatever you need to do.
I got a good memory. I say, ma'am, your husband was not at no Bible retreat. Okay. He was praying. Somebody was on their knees, but it didn't have nothing to do with no Bible study.
They stopped that as well, too, because these Americans coming down there don't know how to act. These civilian Americans, not the military Americans, the civilian Americans. I mean, they laid the hammer down last time I was there. And I'm thinking to myself, who would come in the public in another country and do this kind of BS here? But these New York, Philadelphia, Atlanta Negroes coming down there, guerrilla pimping and bringing that BS with them, these young cats, it was a shame. And I mean, they're taking the fun out of the whole area. It's just a shame.
Yeah, Morris Sam says, bottom line, there's no way around. All your resources going to your wife is there. And let's see here. Arson says, I'm not talking about prostitution. I'm talking about, for example, women who believe it's their role to cook and clean is not conditional up here. Many women claim not to need a man. Again, I never say that. And again, you will never meet any man that I've been with that says that Demetria don't cook. she don't clean, and all the other stuff. Y'all can use your imagination. Ain't no man gonna tell you that I don't do that. And most sisters I know do all that. The problem is a lot of brothers, I'm not saying y'all, a lot of brothers don't want no woman to do all that. Y'all want the woman that's totally the opposite of it. That ain't gonna cook you nothing. They ain't got sense. God gave her cricket. She just do all the low hanging fruit stuff. That's the women that a lot of men typically. I don't say a lot, but some that I've seen, they go for. A lot of men, some men wouldn't know a good woman if she said, "Hey, I'm a good woman." I'm just saying. So I don't know. Tia Truthy say, I don't know why black men have problems with black American women who gave birth to them. It's conditioning.
See, a lot of women use that. That's cap. Here's what I say. Because as a mother, if you're a mom, whatever, that's really none of your concern. I always tell my kids, you love who you love. I don't care what the color is. Now, if you've got these kids that are anti-black woman, yeah, that's a problem. But to say you need to date a black woman because your mama black, that is ridiculous. You date who you want. You don't see black men telling black women when you guys are out there with Zaddy and swirling anything about what black women choose. You can do what you want. No, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Well, to answer Thunder's question, says DK, if a brother has an Afro-Latino wife, should she be welcome stateside in the community? Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, she's Afro-Latino, I don't have a problem actually with anybody who chooses to date. That's on them. I ain't got to date them. But as I say to y'all, because I do have a black daddy, I'm going to date black men because that is who I know.
Lying. Stop. You guys, she's a liar. If El DeBarge came here and El DeBarge ain't a brother, she would give it all up in a heartbeat. So she's lying. She's lying.
I told y'all, I'm not gonna keep trying to prove to y'all El DeBarge is a brother, okay? As I said, he got as many kids as Black America do, okay? And as I said too, he was having problems with his driver's license. Now, if that don't make him a brother, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But as I was saying, my daddy black. My daddy is one of the finest examples of a black man that I have known and still know to this day. So when I think of a partner, a life partner, I think of a black man. No shade to any other man, but I'm gonna date somebody who, as representative of my father, as a black man. So, and as I always say too, to me, can't talk to nobody else. It'd be disrespectful to date a man outside of my father, because my father has instilled in me knowledge of self, and I love myself. I love my black self, so I am going to love a black man. Again, I don't have any problem with anybody else. My sister-in-law, and I don't even really call her my sister-in-law, I call her my sister. She is Afro-Latina, So
Professor Smitty did the best thing he could, man. He got him a good one. Damn.
My sister is the bomb, okay? The bomb. I love her dearly, okay? She is one of the sweetest women you'll ever meet. She's Panamanian, So I don't have a problem with that.
I say love who you love and fall in love with. There shouldn't be any, my mama black, this, that. To me, that's ridiculous because.
No, it's not. It's not ridiculous.
No. What I'm saying is when women come up to me and they go, oh, well, if your mom's black, you should, no, I'm going to fall in love with who I fall in love with. If a black woman falls in love with El DeBarge, then that's on her. More power to you. Love who you love. That's what we should be saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should date who you want to date. But again, this is a conversation that we have in our community of who we should and should not be dating. Everybody else just dates somebody who looks like them, right? But us, we're told love is love, all that other stuff. And I guess I don't have an energy for that argument, but I think you should do what you want. I choose to be with a black man, and I'm not even outside against sisters getting an Afro Latino or a man of Afro descent from another country. Yeah, why not? But that it's to each his own.
See, and that's another thing. Nikki Haley has already said it, and what's his name? Tim Scott has already said it. America is not a racist country. So what are you guys talking about? Some of you guys in the chat. What are you guys talking about? America is not a racist country.
We listening to Nimrata now, huh? She also said the Civil War was about business.
Right. It was about moving forward and all this other stuff. See, all this stuff. But no, again, in summary, this is a great platform to come and talk and get things out. And I know we have an issue in our community that was also put in there by the Democratic Party of these sex wars that we have in the Black community. It seems like we're the only ones that have an issue in regards of how the Democratic Party uses our Black women and our Black men and pit them against each other. We've got to stop that, and we've got to come together. We've got to come together because we are at this point. It's a wrap if we can't get it right in this next election. If we can't show these people our power by coming together, I don't care if we got to come together even if for 1 or 2 election cycles, and that's it. It's going to send a powerful message. But until we come together, we're not going to make it individually. We're just not going to. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and average logical thinker. I'm looking at your comment, and that's not true. It is not true. And I know, for whatever reason, people like to keep saying that that's true. It is absolutely not the truth. So I just think, and I'm not really saying this about you because I see some people saying it, and we should be careful of the things that we say. I know it's easy to, to say those things, but I'm telling you, it's not true. So I hope that helps. But anyway, and yes, thank you. It was a great show. We appreciate y'all. We're going to get out of here. Yeah, Elder Barge is Black. Okay. All day long. Now, what white man? Okay, I was gonna say,
no DeBarge Black. Look at all their kids. None of them are Black. None of them.
Yeah, you kind of cut out because the ancestors was like, you will not keep disrespecting Elder Barge. Okay. You will not keep disrespecting him. So the ancestor said, and I didn't give the brick lady any money either. So anyway, Black America, why should we? If y'all want us to drop the link for Black America, put a 1 in the chat. If you want a hell no, put a 2 in the chat. I'm waiting. Because we've been over here 3 hours. I don't even wear my watch no more, but 3 hours and 10 minutes. Y'all want him to come up, put a 1 in the chat. The majority rules here. Ooh, somebody put 2. I see 1. I'm seeing a lot. I see a hell no. I see 2s. I see a bunch of 2s. I see 2 1s, but I see a bunch of 2s. I see 3. Hey, above beyond fair. I see a 4. Damn, what does that mean? Hell to the mother. That's what that means. I see a B1. I see a 9. Damn. 8 2s. I'm sorry, Black America, love you to death, but the people have spoken.
Tuesday. We'll catch up on Tuesday.
We'll see y'all later. Love and appreciate y'all, every last one of y'all. Thank y'all for everything that y'all do for the channel, comments, the donations, everything. We will see y'all. Y'all saying bring them up for a few. The majority rules. I'll leave it to Donovan. Donovan,
we can bring them up for a second.
Y'all know he said we can bring them up. All right, Black America.
I'm doing this for your average logical thinker because she's like, hell to
So it's a hell no?
Oh, bring them up. Bring them up for a second.
Black America, you got 2 minutes. I swear for God and all the ancestors and my mama R.I.P. You got 2 minutes and 2 minutes only. I'm not speaking because I'm saving my energy. I still got to twist my hair up. I still got to work.
Is he coming up?
Are we going to see? I'm just going to sit here. I don't have a lot to say because I'm already tired. So we're going to see.
Does anybody know who won the game today between
Easy? I'm disappointed too. I said no, but Donovan overruled. So he said bring him up for a second.
Oh, and by the way, you guys, if you guys get a chance, check out your Average Logical Thinkers webpage. She's on YouTube. Just put in your Average Logical Thinker. It will pop up. Also, what's my other girl there? You guys have a lot of great different shows and topics. I can't remember what else.
I'm gonna give him 20 more seconds.
Let's see. Oh, she jumped off. I can't see her.
The Lions won. Okay.
Okay, Lions won. Okay, got it.
Morrison said, "I'm not sticking around for this."
Yeah. Oh man.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We waited. He didn't come on. Love y'all. Peace.